Everyone wants to feel confident, strong, and capable in life, but most of us rely too much on others for guidance, approval, or support. Learning to depend on yourself is about taking control of your decisions, your actions, and your future. It's about building habits that make you stronger, sharper, and more resilient every single day. This isn't some quick fix advice. It's practical steps you can start using today to improve your focus, discipline, courage, and independence. In this video, you'll discover how to trust yourself, solve problems on your own, handle challenges without giving up, and create real progress in every part of your life. By the end, you'll understand what it truly means to take responsibility for yourself and feel the power that comes from knowing you can handle whatever comes your way. Stick around, because these principles will change how you think, act, and grow starting right now. Chapter 1. Build trust in your own decisions every single day. Trust in yourself is not something you wake up with one morning as if it were delivered overnight. It is something you earn by how you live each day, by the way you face decisions, by the courage you show when you choose a direction and take responsibility for it. Many people wait for permission, validation, or certainty before they act, but that waiting builds doubt rather than confidence. To depend on yourself, you must train the habit of trusting your own decisions every single day. This is not about arrogance or stubbornness, but about learning that the foundation of your life must be built on your own judgment, your own reasoning, and your own courage to choose. If you don't build that trust, you will always lean on others, waiting for them to guide you, and in doing so you will never truly own your life. The truth is, every day you are faced with hundreds of small and large decisions. What time do you wake up? How do you spend your morning? What do you choose to eat? How do you respond to challenges? When do you speak up? And when do you stay silent? These are not random events. They are opportunities to practice trusting yourself. Each choice you make is either strengthening or weakening your belief in your ability to handle life. When you hesitate, second guess, and constantly ask others what to do, you send a quiet message to yourself that you cannot be trusted. But when you make a choice, even if it's imperfect, you show yourself that you are capable of moving forward. Over time, this practice builds inner strength, calm confidence, and resilience. You may ask, how do I begin building this trust if I have spent years doubting myself? The answer lies in starting small. Trust does not grow in giant leaps. It grows in consistent, daily actions. For example, if you wake up in the morning and tell yourself you will start your day without checking your phone, follow through. If you commit to drinking more water today, keep that promise. If you decide to speak honestly when asked about your opinion, do not betray yourself by hiding. Each small kept promise is like a brick laid in the foundation of your self-trust. When you keep enough of these promises, you begin to believe your own words again. That belief is powerful because it eliminates the inner conflict that tears people apart. People often imagine that trusting themselves comes from getting everything right. That is not true. Trust grows not from perfection, but from consistency. If you try something and it doesn't work, that is not failure. It is evidence that you were willing to act and learn. What destroys trust is not mistakes, but avoidance. If you refuse to decide, if you constantly put responsibility in the hands of others, you will never know your own strength. A mistake faced with courage builds more trust than a safe decision handed to you by someone else. The act of deciding and living with the outcome is the only way to become strong enough to stand independently. You must also understand that building trust in yourself is uncomfortable at first. It feels safer to ask others for approval or to wait until you feel certain. But life rarely offers certainty. What it offers are moments where you must move forward despite doubt. When you accept this truth, you begin to understand that waiting for the perfect time or the perfect sign is only another form of fear. Courage is not the absence of doubt. It is the decision to act despite it. Each time you act, you reinforce to yourself that you are someone who does not need to be paralyzed by uncertainty. The way you speak to yourself also matters deeply. If your inner voice is harsh, always doubting and criticizing, it is difficult to build trust. Imagine if a friend constantly told you that you are not capable, that you will probably fail, that your judgment is poor. Eventually you would stop trusting that friend. Many people do this to themselves every day. They damage their own relationship with themselves by the words they use in their thoughts. To reverse this, you must practice speaking to yourself with honesty and encouragement. You do not need to sugarcoat reality, but you must be fair. Say to yourself, I will handle this decision. I may not get it perfect, but I will grow from it. That kind of self-talk reinforces the truth that you are reliable, capable, and learning. Another way to build trust is to reflect on past experiences where you handled challenges. Everyone has moments where they rose to the occasion, where they solved something without guidance, where they relied on themselves and succeeded. The problem is that most people forget these mises and focus only on their failures. By remembering and acknowledging the times you were strong, you remind yourself that you have evidence of capability. Self-trust is not built on imagination, it is built on proof. You already have proof from your life, but you must remind yourself of it regularly so that you believe it fully. Practical action is essential. To build self-trust, create a practice of making at least 3 deliberate decisions each day without seeking outside approval. These do not need to be life-changing decisions. They can be as simple as deciding what to eat without asking others, deciding when to take a break, or deciding how to approach a conversation. The point is to build the habit of relying on your own mind. Over time, these small daily decisions add up to a stronger sense of independence, and when larger decisions come, you will already have the muscle of trust built within you. You must also understand that trust is strengthened when you take full responsibility for the results of your choices. Do not blame others, do not make excuses, and do not run from consequences. If a decision leads to an outcome you didn't want, accept it, learn from it, and adjust for next time. This ownership is what separates those who grow stronger from those who remain dependent. When you own your choices, you also own your growth. When you shift blame, you abandon both. A powerful practice is journaling your decisions at the end of each day. Write down what you chose, how you felt about it, and what you learned. This practice brings awareness and creates a record of your growing self-trust. It helps you see patterns in your behavior, reveals where you hesitate, and shows you where you are consistent. Over time, this written evidence builds undeniable proof that you are becoming someone who can be relied upon. You must also be aware of the influence of other people. If you are surrounded by voices that constantly question your choices, criticize you unfairly, or pressure you to follow their path, your ability to trust yourself weakens. Protect your mental space by setting boundaries. Surround yourself with people who respect your ability to make choices, even if they do not agree with every decision. Remember, their approval is not necessary for your growth. You are not here to live their life. You are here to live yours, and that requires you to prioritize your inner compass over external voices. Building self-trust is also connected to patience. You cannot expect immediate results. Trust grows the way strength grows in the body, through repeated practice over time. The first time you go to the gym, you don't become strong overnight. The same is true for trust. You may doubt yourself in the beginning, but as long as you continue making decisions, taking responsibility and learning, your trust in yourself deepens. Patience ensures that you don't abandon the process halfway. When you reach the point where you truly trust your own decisions, Life changes. You no longer hesitate constantly. You no longer drown in anxiety over what others think, and you no longer waste time waiting for guarantees. You begin to move through life with clarity and courage. You take action, you learn, you adjust, and you continue forward. This way of living is not only more peaceful, but also more productive. It allows you to live authentically because your choices come from within, not from the pressures around you. The path is not easy, but it is worth every effort. Every time you choose to trust yourself, you are building a life that belongs fully to you. Every time you hesitate and hand that power away, you weaken your foundation. Your life depends on which of these habits you repeat more often. Choose to repeat trust. Choose to depend on yourself. Choose to build the inner strength that cannot be shaken by doubt, criticism, or failure. If you commit to building trust in your decisions every single day, you will become unshakable. You will know that no matter what happens, you can handle it. You will no longer be at the mercy of others, because your strength will come from within, and that strength is the most reliable source you will ever have. This is the beginning of true independence, true growth, and true resilience. Chapter 2. Strengthen your focus by practicing full attention on tasks. Focus is the ability to place your mind fully on what is in front of you, without scattering your attention across unnecessary distractions. In the modern world, attention is under constant attack. Notifications, endless entertainment, and competing demands pull people in many directions, leaving them feeling drained and unproductive. To depend on yourself, you must strengthen the muscle of focus, because without it, even the best intentions cannot be carried out. Focus is not about doing more things at once, but about doing one thing at a time with full commitment. When you practice full attention on tasks, you develop clarity, discipline, and efficiency that separate you from those who live in constant distraction. The starting point for stronger focus is awareness of how much attention you currently waste. Many people underestimate how often they check their phone, open unnecessary tabs, or drift off mentally during conversations or tasks. Begin by observing yourself honestly throughout the day. Notice when your mind wanders and when you feel the pull of distraction. This awareness itself creates the first step toward improvement, because you cannot change what you do not see. Once you know where your attention leaks, you can begin to repair them. To strengthen focus, reduce the noise around you. Create an environment that supports concentration rather than undermines it. A cluttered desk, constant background noise, or an open line of communication with distractions all weaken your ability to stay present. When you prepare to work, simplify your space. Keep only what is necessary for the task in front of you. Silence or put away your phone. Close programs or tabs that are not directly connected to what you are doing. By designing your environment with intention, you make it easier to give full attention to one task. The next step is to practice single tasking. Many people believe multitasking is a skill, but in reality it divides energy and reduces the quality of work. Instead of scattering your attention across 3 or 4 things, choose one task and stay with it until it is complete, or until you have reached a clear stopping point. This discipline feels uncomfortable at first, because the mind is addicted to jumping from one thing to another. But with practice, you begin to notice that the depth of your work improves and the time you save by avoiding constant switching is significant. Focus is also strengthened by training the mind like a muscle. One simple practice is timed focus sessions. Choose a single task and set a timer for a defined period, such as 25 or 30 minutes. During this time, commit fully to that task and nothing else. When the timer ends, take a short break. Then repeat. This method builds stamina for attention and gradually extends your capacity for deep work. Over time, what feels challenging becomes natural, and you are able to sustain longer periods of concentration with less effort. Discipline over your attention also requires you to control what enters your mind. What you consume daily, news, social media, conversations, shapes your ability to focus. If your day is filled with shallow information, your mind adapts to constant stimulation and struggles to settle on deeper tasks. Protect your focus by limiting unnecessary inputs. Replace mindless scrolling with intentional reading. Replace passive entertainment with activities that engage your mind in meaningful ways, and choose to spend time with people who respect your time and presence. Another practical tool is to break tasks into clear steps. When something feels overwhelming, focus naturally weakens because the mind does not know where to start. By writing down a sequence of small actionable steps, you remove confusion and create a clear path. Each step completed gives you momentum and encourages you to keep going. The act of checking off tasks reinforces attention by rewarding progress and keeping your mind engaged. Strengthening focus is also about being fully present in the moment. Many people lose attention not because of outside distractions, but because their thoughts wander to the past or future. When you catch your mind drifting, bring yourself back by paying attention to your breathing or by repeating a simple phrase, such as, here, now, this. This anchors your attention and prevents you from dividing your energy between what is happening and what is imagined. The more you train this practice, the easier it becomes to return to the task quickly whenever your thoughts wander. Your physical state has a direct impact on focus. Lack of sleep, poor nutrition, and inactivity weaken the brain's ability to concentrate. To support full attention, take care of your body, sleep deeply and consistently, eat food that fuels energy rather than draining it, and move your body regularly to keep blood and oxygen flowing to the brain. A strong body provides the foundation for a strong mind. Without this foundation, focus becomes a battle against exhaustion. There is also value in creating rituals that prepare your mind for deep concentration. Before starting an important task, take a moment to clear your mind, breathe deeply, and set an intention for what you want to accomplish. By repeating this preparation consistently, your brain begins to associate the ritual with focus, making it easier to enter a state of concentration. Over time, this becomes a reliable trigger that shifts you into a productive mindset. Another way to build focus is through patience. Many people give up quickly when their concentration wavers. They assume they are simply not good at focusing. But the truth is that focus is built like any other skill. It requires practice and endurance. When you feel restless, acknowledge it, but continue working. Each time you resist the urge to quit or switch tasks, you strengthen your ability to stay with the work. What was once uncomfortable becomes your new baseline of strength. Attention must also be guarded against unnecessary urgency. When you try to rush through tasks, your mind scatters because it feels pressured. Focus thrives in calm, deliberate effort. Approach each task with the mindset that you will give it the time and care it deserves. Do not confuse speed with productivity. True productivity comes from depth and quality, which can only happen when attention is steady. Relationships and conversations are also opportunities to practice focus. When speaking with someone, give them your full attention. Do not look at your phone. Do not prepare your reply while they are speaking, and do not divide your presence between them and other thoughts. This practice not only improves relationships, but also strengthens your ability to remain present in all areas of life. Each conversation becomes training for your attention. Reflection is an important part of building focus. At the end of the day, look back and notice when you maintained strong concentration and when you lost it. Identify the triggers that caused distraction. Was it hunger, fatigue, boredom, or environment? With this knowledge, you can prepare better for the next day by eliminating or reducing those triggers. Self-awareness combined with adjustment creates steady progress. The ability to focus fully on tasks is not simply about productivity, it is about respect. Respect for your own time, respect for the work you are doing, and respect for your future. When you give your best attention to what is in front of you, you honor the value of your life. Distraction wastes the limited time you have. Focus multiplies it. By practicing attention daily, you move closer to a life of discipline, clarity, and achievement. As your focus strengthens, you will notice changes in every area of your life. Work becomes more effective, conversations more meaningful, learning more profound, and goals more attainable. You will no longer feel pulled in every direction, but will instead feel grounded and purposeful. You will also notice that the noise of the world affects you less, because you have trained your mind to remain steady. This steadiness is rare in a world of constant distraction, and it becomes a powerful advantage. The practice of giving full attention to tasks is simple, but it demands consistency. Each time you choose to remain present, you build the strength of focus. Each time you allow yourself to be distracted, you weaken it. The choice is yours, moment by moment, task by task. Strengthening focus is not a single achievement, but a continuous practice. With time, it becomes a natural part of how you live and work. By training your mind daily to concentrate fully, you build not only productivity but also independence. You no longer need external pressure to stay on track, because your discipline comes from within. This self-reliance is the foundation of true growth. When you can direct your attention where it matters, you control the direction of your life. This is why strengthening your focus is not optional. If you wish to depend on yourself, it is essential. Chapter 3. Create discipline by following a clear daily routine. Focus is the ability to place your mind fully on what is in front of you, without scattering your attention across unnecessary distractions. In the modern world, attention is under constant attack. Notifications, endless entertainment, and competing demands pull people in many directions, leaving them feeling drained and unproductive. To depend on yourself, you must strengthen the muscle of focus, because without it, even the best intentions cannot be carried out. Focus is not about doing more things at once, but about doing one thing at a time with full commitment. When you practice full attention on tasks, you develop clarity, discipline, and efficiency that separate you from those who live in constant distraction. The starting point for stronger focus is awareness of how much attention you currently waste. Many people underestimate how often they check their phone, open unnecessary tabs, or drift off mentally during conversations or tasks. Begin by observing yourself honestly throughout the day. Notice when your mind wanders and when you feel the pull of distraction. This awareness itself creates the first step toward improvement, because you cannot change what you do not see. Once you know where your attention leaks, you can begin to repair them. To strengthen focus, reduce the noise around you. Create an environment that supports concentration rather than undermines it. A cluttered desk, constant background noise, or an open line of communication with distractions all weaken your ability to stay present. When you prepare to work, simplify your space. Keep only what is necessary for the task in front of you. Silence or put away your phone. Close programs or tabs that are not directly connected to what you are doing. By designing your environment with intention, you make it easier to give full attention to one task. The next step is to practice single tasking. Many people believe multitasking is a skill, but in reality it divides energy and reduces the quality of work. Instead of scattering your attention across 3 or 4 things, choose one task and stay with it until it is complete or until you have reached a clear stopping point. This discipline feels uncomfortable at first because the mind is addicted to jumping from one thing to another. But with practice, you begin to notice that the depth of your work improves and the time you save by avoiding constant switching is significant. Focus is also strengthened by training the mind like a muscle. One simple practice is timed focus sessions. Choose a single task and set a timer for a defined period, such as 25 or 30 minutes. During this time, commit fully to that task and nothing else. When the timer ends, take a short break, then repeat. This method builds stamina for attention and gradually extends your capacity for deep work. Over time, what feels challenging becomes natural, and you are able to sustain longer periods of concentration with less effort. Discipline over your attention also requires you to control what enters your mind. What you consume daily, news, social media, conversations, shapes your ability to focus. If your day is filled with shallow information, your mind adapts to constant stimulation and struggles to settle on deeper tasks. Protect your focus by limiting unnecessary inputs. Replace mindless scrolling with intentional reading. Replace passive entertainment with activities that engage your mind in meaningful ways, and choose to spend time with people who respect your time and presence. Another practical tool is to break tasks into clear steps. When something feels overwhelming, focus naturally weakens because the mind does not know where to start. By writing down a sequence of small, actionable steps, you remove confusion and create a clear path. Each step completed gives you momentum and encourages you to keep going. The act of checking off tasks reinforces attention by rewarding progress and keeping your mind engaged. The strengthening focus is also about being fully present in the moment. Many people lose attention not because of outside distractions, but because their thoughts wander to the past or future. When you catch your mind drifting, bring yourself back by paying attention to your breathing or by repeating a simple phrase, such as here, now, this. This anchors your attention and prevents you from dividing your energy between what is happening and what is imagined. The more you train this practice, the easier it becomes to return to the task quickly whenever your thoughts wander. Your physical state has a direct impact on focus. Lack of sleep, poor nutrition, and inactivity weaken the brain's ability to concentrate. To support full attention, take care of your body. Sleep deeply and consistently. Eat food that fuels energy rather than draining it, and move your body regularly to keep blood and oxygen flowing to the brain. A strong body provides the foundation for a strong mind. Without this foundation, focus becomes a battle against exhaustion. There is also value in creating rituals that prepare your mind for deep concentration. Before starting an important task, take a moment to clear your mind, breathe deeply, and set an intention for what you want to accomplish. By repeating this preparation consistently, your brain begins to associate the ritual with focus, making it easier to enter a state of concentration. Over time, this becomes a reliable trigger that shifts you into a productive mindset. Another way to build focus is through patience. Many people give up quickly when their concentration wavers. They assume they are simply not good at focusing. But the truth is that focus is built like any other skill. It requires practice and endurance. When you feel restless, acknowledge it, but continue working. Each time you resist the urge to quit or switch tasks, you strengthen your ability to stay with the work. What was once uncomfortable becomes your new baseline of strength. Attention must also be guarded against unnecessary urgency. When you try to rush through tasks, your mind scatters because it feels pressured. Focus thrives in calm, deliberate effort. Approach each task with the mindset that you will give it the time and care it deserves. Do not confuse speed with productivity. True productivity comes from depth and quality, which can only happen when attention is steady. Relationships and conversations are also opportunities to practice focus. When speaking with someone, give them your full attention. Do not look at your phone, do not prepare your reply while they are speaking, and do not divide your presence between them and other thoughts. This practice not only improves relationships, but also strengthens your ability to remain present in all areas of life. Each conversation becomes training for your attention. Reflection is an important part of building focus. At the end of the day, look back and notice when you maintained strong concentration and when you lost it. Identify the triggers that caused distraction. Was it hunger, fatigue, boredom, or environment? With this knowledge, you can prepare better for the next day by eliminating or reducing those triggers. Self-awareness combined with adjustment creates steady progress. The ability to focus fully on tasks is not simply about productivity, it is about respect. Respect for your own time, respect for the work you are doing, and respect for your future. When you give your best attention to what is in front of you, you honor the value of your life. Distraction wastes the limited time you have. Focus multiplies it. By practicing attention daily, you move closer to a life of discipline, clarity, and achievement. As your focus strengthens, you will notice changes in every area of your life. Work becomes more effective, conversations more meaningful, learning more profound, and goals more attainable. You will no longer feel pulled in every direction, but will instead feel grounded and purposeful. You will also notice that the noise of the world affects you less because you have trained your mind to remain steady. This steadiness is rare in a world of constant distraction, and it becomes a powerful advantage. The practice of giving full attention to tasks is simple, but it demands consistency. Each time you choose to remain present, you build the strength of focus. Each time you allow yourself to be distracted, you weaken it. The choice is yours, moment by moment, task by task. Strengthening focus is not a single achievement, but a continuous practice. With time, it becomes a natural part of how you live and work. By training your mind daily to concentrate fully, you build not only productivity but also independence. You no longer need external pressure to stay on track because your discipline comes from within. This self-reliance is the foundation of true growth. When you can direct your attention where it matters, you control the direction of your life. This is why strengthening your focus is not optional. If you wish to depend on yourself, it is essential. Chapter 4. Take ownership of your choices without seeking outside approval. Every decision you make shapes the course of your life. Yet many people surrender that responsibility by waiting for someone else to confirm their choices. When you rely on outside approval, you live according to the expectations of others instead of your own values. Dependence on constant validation weakens your confidence and creates hesitation every time a new situation arises. To build a life of strength and self-respect, you must take full ownership of your choices without looking for permission. True growth begins when you recognize that your decisions belong to you, and so do the results that follow. Ownership means accepting both the rewards and the consequences of what you decide. It is easy to take pride when choices turn out well, but the real test is when things do not go as planned. In those moments, many people deflect responsibility or shift the blame to others. That behavior may provide temporary comfort, but it prevents real growth. When you admit to yourself that every outcome is connected to a choice you made, you gain control. Instead of feeling powerless, you see where your actions influence your future, and that realization creates strength. Seeking outside approval often feels safe, because it reduces risk. If others agree with your choice, you feel less responsible if it fails, but this safety is an illusion. By living this way, you never truly own your direction. You hand over your authority to others and remain dependent on their opinions. This dependence makes you fragile because opinions constantly change. If your confidence rises and falls based on the approval of others, you will never find stability. The alternative is to ground your decisions in your own principles. This does not mean ignoring wisdom from others, but it means the final choice must rest with you. The first step toward ownership is clarity about what matters to you. Many people seek approval because they are unsure of their own values. Without a clear foundation, they use other people's opinions as a guide. Spend time reflecting on what you truly value in life: honesty, discipline, growth, freedom, or responsibility. When you know your principles, your decisions become clearer, and you rely less on the shifting opinions of those around you. Taking ownership also means being decisive. Hesitation creates confusion, while decisiveness creates momentum. Do not spend endless time waiting for someone else to validate your choice. Evaluate the situation, consider the facts, measure it against your values, then act. Even if you are uncertain, making a choice and learning from it is better than waiting endlessly. Each decision made and owned strengthens your confidence for the next one. Real ownership requires courage, because every choice carries the possibility of mistakes. Fear of being wrong drives many people to seek approval. They want reassurance that their path is safe. But no reassurance can remove all risk. Life is uncertain by nature, and mistakes are part of progress. When you take ownership, you accept this uncertainty and trust yourself to handle whatever comes. This mindset transforms mistakes into teachers rather than threats. You no longer fear being wrong because you know you can learn and adjust. A practical way to build this habit is to start with small choices. Decide what to eat without asking someone else. Choose how to spend your free time without polling for opinions, or select the order in which you handle tasks during the day. Each small decision owned completely builds the inner strength needed for larger decisions. The goal is to train yourself to trust your judgment in everyday life until it becomes natural. Another important practice is to stop explaining your choices unnecessarily. Many people waste energy defending every decision they make, even when no explanation is needed. This habit comes from a desire to be approved. When you truly own your choice, you do not feel the need to justify it constantly. You may explain when necessary for clarity or collaboration, but you do not seek validation through explanation. You know your reasons, and that is enough. Self-reflection is another tool for ownership. At the end of each day, review the decisions you made. Ask yourself which ones came from your own judgment and which were influenced by seeking approval. Notice the difference in how you felt afterward. Choices made from your own conviction usually bring peace, even when the outcome is difficult, while choices made from seeking approval often bring frustration and regret. This awareness strengthens your resolve to stand by your own judgment more often. It is also important to understand that taking ownership does not mean rejecting all advice. Wisdom can be found in listening to others, but ownership means you use that advice as input, not as a command. You consider it, weigh it against your values, then make your own final decision. Advice is valuable, but your responsibility remains unchanged. You are the one who must live with the result. When you take full responsibility for your decisions, you also begin to respect yourself more. You recognize that your life is your own creation. This respect builds confidence, and confidence attracts respect from others as well. People are naturally drawn to those who live with conviction because it shows strength and independence. By owning your choices, you not only free yourself from dependence, but also inspire others to do the same. There will be times when ownership feels heavy. Carrying the responsibility of your life is not always easy, but it is the only way to build resilience. Avoiding responsibility may feel lighter, but it leaves you weak and dependent. The strength you gain by carrying your own weight cannot be replaced by comfort. In fact, the more you carry, the stronger you become, and soon what once felt heavy becomes natural. In relationships, ownership also matters. When you make decisions that affect others, own both the decision and the consequences. Do not hide behind excuses or shift blame. This honesty creates trust and respect in relationships. People may not always agree with you, but they will value your integrity. By contrast, if you constantly seek approval before making choices, you appear uncertain and dependent, which weakens both trust and respect. Another challenge arises when your choices go against the expectations of others. This is often the moment when ownership is most tested. It is difficult to stand firm when those around you disapprove. But if your choice aligns with your values, you must stand by it. Approval may be withheld, but your self-respect will grow stronger. Over time, you will see that external approval is temporary, but the strength you build through ownership lasts. Your daily life provides countless opportunities to practice this principle. When faced with decisions, pause and ask yourself, am I choosing this because it is right for me, or because I want someone else's approval? That single question can guide you toward independence. With practice, the answer will become clearer, and your confidence in making decisions will grow naturally. Taking ownership of your choices is not about isolation or arrogance. It is about maturity and responsibility. It is about understanding that no one else can live your life for you. Others may guide, suggest, or even pressure, but the final responsibility always belongs to you. When you accept this fully, you stop running from responsibility and start embracing it as the foundation of your growth. As you live this principle daily, you will notice a shift. You will feel lighter because you are no longer burdened by the constant need for approval. You will feel stronger because each decision made and owned adds to your resilience. You will feel freer because your life will truly belong to you, not to the expectations of others. In the end, ownership is freedom. It is the freedom to direct your life, to learn from your choices, and to build the future you want. It may not be the easiest path, but it is the most rewarding. Every decision you own strengthens your independence, deepens your confidence, and proves to yourself that you are capable of living by your own judgment. That is the foundation of self-reliance, and it is the path toward a life of strength, growth, and unshakable peace. Chapter 5. Grow confidence by solving problems with your own solutions. Confidence does not arrive from wishing for it or waiting until someone gives it to you. It grows naturally when you prove to yourself that you can handle challenges without leaning entirely on others. Every time you face a problem and create your own solution, you strengthen the belief that you are capable. This belief is the foundation of lasting confidence because it is built on evidence, not empty reassurance. Depending too much on outside help may bring temporary relief, but it does not give you the strength that comes from relying on your own mind. The true growth of confidence begins when you stop asking who will solve your problems for you and instead ask how you can solve them yourself. Solving problems independently trains you to see yourself as resourceful. Even when a challenge feels unfamiliar or overwhelming, the act of engaging with it builds mental resilience. You may not get it right on the first attempt, but the courage to try matters more than perfection. Each attempt gives you insight and experience, and those experiences accumulate into wisdom. With time, you no longer approach problems with fear, but with curiosity and determination. This shift changes the way you walk through life, because you know that whatever comes, you can create a response. When you begin solving problems with your own solutions, you stop waiting for the perfect answer. You start testing possibilities, making adjustments, and learning in real time. Confidence does not grow by standing still. It grows by moving forward, even when the path is uncertain. The willingness to experiment without waiting for guarantees gives you freedom. You free yourself from the fear of mistakes because you understand that mistakes are not evidence of weakness, but steps towards strength. To make this practical, start by approaching small everyday problems with independence. If something breaks at home, try to fix it before calling someone else. If a task at work confuses you, research it and attempt your own method before asking for help. If you feel stuck in your personal routine, brainstorm ideas and test them instead of waiting for advice. These small actions add up quickly. They form a habit of problem solving that strengthens your confidence day by day. A key principle in growing confidence through problem solving is persistence. Many people give up too soon, assuming they lack the ability to figure things out. In reality, they simply lack the patience to stay with the challenge long enough. Confidence grows when you persist, even when the first or second attempt does not work. Staying with the problem, testing different approaches, and refusing to quit proves to yourself that you are resilient. That proof is far more valuable than instant success. It is also important to notice how you speak to yourself during challenges. If your inner voice constantly tells you that you are not capable, you weaken your effort before it begins. Replace that voice with one that encourages action. Tell yourself, "I will find a way," and then back those words with effort. Even if the path is not clear, your commitment to trying opens possibilities. Each time you repeat this process, your self-image shifts from someone who avoids problems to someone who faces them with strength. Learning to solve problems with your own solutions also deepens creativity. You are forced to think differently, to look at the problem from various angles, and to test unconventional ideas. This mental flexibility strengthens confidence because you know you are not limited to one rigid way of thinking. You develop the ability to adapt, and adaptability is one of the most powerful forms of confidence because it prepares you for any circumstance. Reflecting on past problems you have solved independently can also fuel your confidence. Take time to recall moments when you faced something difficult and created your own solution. Remember the effort you gave, the persistence you showed, and the way you overcame doubt. These memories serve as reminders that you already possess strength and ability. By revisiting them, you reinforce the truth that you are capable of handling what comes next. Another essential practice is to accept responsibility for both success and failure. When you take ownership of the outcome, you remove the excuse of blaming others. If your solution works, you feel genuine pride because it was yours. If it does not work, you gain valuable lessons to use for the future. Either way, you grow. This ownership builds inner stability because you no longer depend on others to define your success or failure. You define it by the effort and courage you bring. Confidence through problem solving is not about rejecting help completely. It is about using your own mind before turning to others. Guidance can be valuable, but the first step should always be your own attempt. Even if you eventually seek advice, you approach it with more strength because you have already engaged with the problem yourself. This mindset prevents dependence and ensures that your confidence rests on your own foundation. It is also helpful to break larger challenges into smaller steps. When a problem feels too big, confidence can collapse under the weight of it. Divide the challenge into manageable parts and focus on solving one step at a time. Each completed step gives you momentum and reduces the feeling of overwhelm. With each small victory, your confidence rises, and before long, you realize that you are capable of handling challenges that once seemed impossible. Your physical habits also affect your ability to solve problems confidently. A tired, neglected body weakens the mind, making challenges feel heavier than they are. By maintaining health through proper rest, movement, and nutrition, you equip yourself with the energy needed to stay engaged with problems. A clear and energized mind is naturally more capable of finding solutions. Taking care of your body is not separate from building confidence, it is part of it. Another layer of building confidence through problem solving is embracing uncertainty. Many people hesitate because they want a perfect plan before acting, but real confidence comes from moving forward despite not knowing everything. You cannot predict every outcome, but you can trust that you will adapt along the way. When you practice this, uncertainty loses its power over you. Instead of freezing, you act, and action always builds more confidence than waiting. There will be times when solutions take longer to appear, and in those moments, frustration may tempt you to give up. This is where patience becomes essential. Confidence is not the absence of difficulty, it is the strength to continue through it. Each time you choose patience, you teach yourself that persistence is more valuable than immediate results. Over time, you come to see that patience itself is a form of confidence, because it shows that you trust your ability to endure. In relationships, problem solving with your own solutions also changes how you are perceived. When others see that you handle challenges independently, they respect you more. You become someone others can rely on, not someone who constantly relies on them. This respect is not only external but internal. You begin to respect yourself more deeply. That self-respect is one of the strongest roots of confidence. Confidence also grows when you recognize progress. Each time you solve a problem, take a moment to acknowledge it. Do not minimize your effort or dismiss the result as unimportant. Celebrate the fact that you acted, persisted, and created a solution. This recognition reinforces the habit of confidence and motivates you to keep applying yourself to the next challenge. Over time, solving problems with your own solutions becomes second nature. You stop doubting whether you can handle things, and instead begin asking how you will handle them. This subtle shift in language signals a deeper transformation. You no longer see problems as threats, but as opportunities to prove your strength. Each challenge becomes another chance to build confidence, and with each success or lesson, your belief in yourself grows stronger. The path to confidence is not about eliminating problems from life, but about becoming the kind of person who knows they can face them. When you rely on your own solutions, you build trust in your ability to shape your future. You stop waiting for rescue and start creating answers. You stop shrinking in fear and start rising in strength. This is how confidence becomes unshakable, not because life becomes easy, but because you become strong enough to meet it with courage. Chapter 6. Develop patience by working steadily toward meaningful goals. Patience is one of the rarest strengths a person can cultivate, especially in a world that pushes quick results and instant gratification. The ability to wait, to persist, and to stay steady while working toward meaningful goals is not something that comes naturally. It must be built with intention. Developing patience is not about doing nothing or passively waiting. It is about learning to respect the pace of progress while continuing to put in consistent effort. A person who lacks patience will constantly quit too early, change direction too often, and lose the chance to experience the growth that only comes from staying with something long enough to see it through. To grow in life, you must not only set meaningful goals, but also commit yourself to walking the long road toward them, even when it feels slow, uncertain, or demanding. Every meaningful goal requires time, because worthwhile results are never immediate. If you want to get stronger physically, it takes months or years of exercise and discipline. If you want to grow financially, it takes years of steady saving and investing. If you want to deepen knowledge, it requires countless hours of reading, reflection, and practice. In every area of life, progress follows a natural rhythm that cannot be rushed, and the people who succeed are those who can stay the course without losing hope or motivation. Patience, in this sense, is the discipline of holding on when the results are invisible and the reward feels far away. The danger of impatience is that it pushes people to abandon their goals when progress is slow. A person starts something with excitement, but when the reality of effort appears, they grow restless and look for easier paths. They chase quick fixes, shortcuts, or instant results. But these rarely lead anywhere meaningful. Patience requires the maturity to accept that valuable achievements take time and effort, and that setbacks and delays are part of the process. The steady worker may not shine at the beginning, but in the end, they accomplish far more than the one who constantly jumps from one thing to another. Developing patience begins with aligning your goals with meaning. If your goals are shallow or chosen only to impress others, you will not last long, because when challenges come, you will not have a deep reason to stay committed. But when your goals are rooted in values that matter to you, health, growth, contribution, mastery, you will find the strength to endure the slower seasons. Patience grows stronger when the destination is something you genuinely care about. It allows you to see every step as worthwhile, even if the road is longer than expected. Another way to build patience is to focus on the process instead of obsessing over the outcome. If your only concern is how quickly you arrive, you will feel frustrated when results take time. But if you shift your attention to the daily actions, your routine, your practice, your progress, you begin to enjoy the journey itself. A writer who focuses only on finishing a book may grow impatient, but a writer who focuses on writing a page every day learns to appreciate the craft and builds momentum. The small, steady actions may feel ordinary, but over time they accumulate into extraordinary results. Consistency is the training ground of patience. The act of doing the right things repeatedly, even when the results are not immediate, strengthens your ability to wait without giving up. It teaches you to embrace the rhythm of progress instead of fighting against it. Every time you choose to continue instead of quitting, you strengthen your patience. Each day of steady effort is a small investment in your future, and the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes to keep moving forward without demanding instant rewards. It is also important to adjust your expectations. Impatience often comes from imagining progress should be faster than it really is. When you believe that success should happen in weeks instead of years, you create frustration that leads to quitting. But when you accept that growth is gradual and allow yourself the grace of time, you become calmer and more resilient. Patience is not about lowering your standards. It is about accepting the true timeline of growth while continuing to act with discipline. Setbacks and delays are natural tests of patience. When things do not go as planned, the impatient person sees failure, but the patient person sees an opportunity to learn and strengthen. Every delay is a chance to develop endurance, to refine your approach, or to deepen your understanding. If you view obstacles as part of the path instead of interruptions, you will find it easier to remain patient. The road may take longer, but the lessons learned along the way make you stronger and more capable of handling future challenges. Patience also requires self-control. The urge to quit or seek shortcuts is often strong, and without the ability to regulate these impulses, impatience wins. Strengthening patience means practicing restraint, choosing not to give in to frustration, resisting the desire to rush, and controlling the temptation to abandon long-term goals for temporary pleasures. This control is not easy, but each time you exercise it, you prove to yourself that you can master your own impulses, and that mastery is the foundation of patience. One of the greatest rewards of developing patience is the peace it brings. When you no longer demand immediate results, you free yourself from constant anxiety and disappointment. You learn to work steadily with confidence, knowing that your efforts will pay off in time. You stop comparing your pace to others and instead focus on your own steady progress. This calm persistence allows you to move forward with clarity and purpose, and in the long run, it is far more powerful than rushing or constantly changing direction. Practicing patience daily means embracing small tasks with attention and care. Whether you are waiting in line, stuck in traffic, or dealing with slow progress at work, you can train yourself to remain steady instead of restless. Each moment of waiting is a chance to strengthen your ability to endure without frustration. By practicing patience in small things, you prepare yourself for the greater challenges that require long-term commitment. Those who develop patience not only achieve more but also grow stronger within. They learn to trust the process, to respect time, and to find meaning in persistence. They no longer live in constant restlessness, but in steady progress toward what matters. A life built with patience is a life of depth and stability, because you learn to endure and persist long enough to create something lasting. When you work steadily toward meaningful goals, you become unshakable. The world may push quick results, but you know that true growth takes time. You continue with discipline when others quit. You keep faith in your path when others grow restless. You stay committed to your goals because you understand that patience is not weakness. It is strength. It is control. It is the quiet power that makes great achievements possible. The reward is not only in reaching the goal but in the person you become by patiently walking the path toward it. Chapter 7. Improve resilience by learning from challenges without quitting. Resilience is not something you are simply born with. It is built step by step through the way you respond to difficulties. Life presents everyone with moments of struggle, and the difference between those who grow stronger and those who feel stuck lies in how they handle those moments. When you face a challenge, you have two choices. You can step back, feel defeated, and give up, or you can decide to stay present, learn what you can, and continue forward, even if progress feels slow. Every time you choose the second option, you are building resilience, and resilience becomes one of the most valuable strengths you can develop if you want to depend on yourself. The first step in improving resilience is changing the way you view challenges. Many people see difficulties as interruptions that ruin their plans, but a stronger perspective is to see them as opportunities to grow. This shift does not happen overnight, but it begins with recognizing that every challenge carries a lesson. Instead of asking why something bad has happened to you, begin asking what it can teach you. The simple change in language allows you to gain insight instead of frustration. When you make this a habit, challenges stop being just problems and become stepping stones toward greater strength. When a setback occurs, your natural response might be to want quick solutions or immediate relief, but resilience requires that you pause and reflect before acting. This pause is powerful because it helps you gather clarity instead of reacting with panic. Take time to analyze what went wrong, what you could do differently, and what you can improve for the future. By doing this, you avoid the trap of quitting too soon, because you are focusing not on the difficulty itself, but on how to use it to your advantage. Resilience also demands that you strengthen your ability to tolerate discomfort. Challenges will always involve frustration, stress, or even pain, but if you see discomfort as a natural part of growth, it becomes easier to handle. Avoiding pain or running away from discomfort only makes it harder to grow. Facing it directly, however, teaches your mind and body that you are capable of surviving hard moments. For example, when you experience criticism, rejection, or failure, you may feel hurt, but if you sit with that feeling, learn from it, and move forward, you discover that discomfort does not destroy you. It becomes part of your strength. Another important part of resilience is developing persistence. Persistence means continuing forward even when the progress feels small or invisible. Many people quit because they expect fast results, and when they do not see immediate change, they assume their effort is useless. The truth is that resilience thrives in slow progress. Each small step matters, and over time, those small steps create transformation. Train yourself to value progress, not perfection, and persistence will feel more natural. Resilience also grows when you take responsibility for your response to challenges. While you cannot control every circumstance, you can control how you react. Some people blame others or the situation for their setbacks, but blame only keeps them stuck. Taking responsibility allows you to claim your own power. If you see challenges as something you can influence rather than something that controls you, your mindset changes completely. You stop feeling like a victim and begin to see yourself as an active participant in your growth. A practical way to build resilience is to reflect on your past experiences and recognize times when you overcame difficulty. Think about moments when you wanted to give up but did not. Those memories are proof that you already carry resilience within you. Reminding yourself of those victories helps you face new challenges with more confidence. You realize that since you have handled struggles before, you can handle them again. This memory becomes fuel to keep going instead of quitting. Another element of resilience is flexibility. Many people believe resilience means being unbreakable. But in reality, resilience is about being adaptable. Life rarely unfolds exactly as you plan, and if you cling rigidly to one path, setbacks will feel overwhelming. Flexibility allows you to adjust, try new strategies, and continue moving forward even when things change unexpectedly. This adaptability is not a weakness, it is a sign of wisdom. By being willing to adjust, you make it harder for challenges to stop you. Improving resilience also requires cultivating patience with yourself. Some challenges are not solved quickly, and expecting instant solutions only creates frustration. Patience helps you accept that progress takes time and that setbacks are a normal part of the process. Instead of demanding immediate success, you allow yourself to grow steadily. This patience keeps you from abandoning your goals the moment difficulty appears, and it strengthens your ability to keep trying even when the outcome is not immediate. Resilience is strengthened when you create supportive habits that reinforce your inner strength. Habits such as journaling about your struggles, setting aside time for reflection, practicing gratitude for the lessons in hardships, and setting small achievable goals all contribute to resilience. These habits make challenges less overwhelming because you already have a system in place to process them. They remind you that you are not powerless, but instead equipped with strategies that keep you moving forward. Learning from challenges also involves practicing honesty with yourself. Instead of denying mistakes or pretending you are not struggling, resilience asks you to face the truth. Acknowledging that you made an error or that something did not go as planned does not weaken you. It makes you stronger because honesty opens the door to growth. Denial, on the other hand, keeps you repeating the same mistakes. Resilience comes from looking at the truth directly and deciding how to improve from there. Another practical part of resilience is building problem-solving skills. When faced with a challenge, you can choose to dwell on the problem or search for solutions. Training your mind to focus on solutions instead of obstacles changes how you handle adversity. Instead of being consumed by frustration, you are actively searching for ways forward. Each time you solve a problem, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that challenges can be managed, and this fuels greater resilience. It is also important to remind yourself that resilience is not about never feeling discouraged. Everyone feels moments of doubt or frustration, but resilience is what helps you return to your path after those moments. Do not judge yourself for feeling low. Instead, recognize that resilience is measured by your ability to continue, not by never experiencing weakness. Every time you choose to rise again, Even after falling, you strengthen your self-reliance. One of the greatest benefits of improving resilience is the sense of trust it creates in yourself. When you consistently learn from challenges instead of quitting, you build confidence that you can rely on yourself no matter what comes. This trust is life-changing because it frees you from dependence on outside approval or constant support. You realize that even when circumstances are tough, you have the ability to keep moving forward. That trust in yourself becomes the foundation for independence and lasting growth. Resilience is not built in a single moment, but in repeated choices. Each challenge you face gives you the opportunity to strengthen it. Each time you decide not to quit, you are proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. Over time, this repeated practice shapes your character and prepares you for bigger goals and responsibilities. The more you practice resilience, the more natural it becomes, until it is part of who you are. By learning from challenges without quitting, you transform difficulties into stepping stones. Instead of fearing hardship, you begin to welcome it as part of growth. You no longer see yourself as someone who must avoid struggle, but as someone who uses struggle to rise higher. This mindset is what allows you to depend on yourself fully, because you know you can handle whatever comes your way. Resilience becomes not just a skill, but a way of living, and it carries you forward with strength, courage, and unshakable confidence. Chapter 8. Take responsibility for your progress in every situation. Resilience is not something you are simply born with. It is built step by step through the way you respond to difficulties. Life presents everyone with moments of struggle, and the difference between those who grow stronger and those who feel stuck lies in how they handle those moments. When you face a challenge, you have two choices. You can step back, feel defeated, and give up, or you can decide to stay present, learn what you can, and continue forward even if progress feels slow. Every time you choose the second option, you are building resilience, and resilience becomes one of the most valuable strengths you can develop if you want to depend on yourself. The first step in improving resilience is changing the way you view challenges. Many people see difficulties as interruptions that ruin their plans, but a stronger perspective is to see them as opportunities to grow. This shift does not happen overnight, but it begins with recognizing that every challenge carries a lesson. Instead of asking why something bad has happened to you, begin asking what it can teach you. The simple change in language allows you to gain insight instead of frustration. When you make this a habit, challenges stop being just problems and become stepping stones toward greater strength. When a setback occurs, your natural response might be to want quick solutions or immediate relief, but resilience requires that you pause and reflect before acting. This pause is powerful because it helps you gather clarity instead of reacting with panic. Take time to analyze what went wrong, what you could do differently, and what you can improve for the future. By doing this, you avoid the trap of quitting too soon, because you are focusing not on the difficulty itself, but on how to use it to your advantage. Resilience also demands that you strengthen your ability to tolerate discomfort. Challenges will always involve frustration, stress, or even pain, but if you see discomfort as a natural part of growth, it becomes easier to handle. Avoiding pain or running away from discomfort only makes it harder to grow. Facing it directly, however, teaches your mind and body that you are capable of surviving hard moments. For example, when you experience criticism, rejection, or failure, you may feel hurt, but if you sit with that feeling, learn from it, and move forward, you discover that discomfort does not destroy you. It becomes part of your strength. Another important part of resilience is developing persistence. Persistence means continuing forward even when the progress feels small or invisible. Many people quit because they expect fast results, and when they do not see immediate change, they assume their effort is useless. The truth is that resilience thrives in slow progress. Each small step matters, and over time, those small steps create transformation. Train yourself to value progress, not perfection, and persistence will feel more natural. Resilience also grows when you take responsibility for your response to challenges. While you cannot control every circumstance, you can control how you react. Some people blame others or the situation for their setbacks, but blame only keeps them stuck. Taking responsibility allows you to claim your own power. If you see challenges as something you can influence rather than something that controls you, your mindset changes completely. You stop feeling like a victim and begin to see yourself as an active participant in your growth. A practical way to build resilience is to reflect on your past experiences and recognize times when you overcame difficulty. Think about moments when you wanted to give up but did not. Those memories are proof that you already carry resilience within you. Reminding yourself of those victories helps you face new challenges with more confidence. You realize that since you have handled struggles before, you can handle them again. This memory becomes fuel to keep going instead of quitting. Another element of resilience is flexibility. Many people believe resilience means being unbreakable, but in reality, resilience is about being adaptable. Life rarely unfolds exactly as you plan, and if you cling rigidly to one path, setbacks will feel overwhelming. Flexibility allows you to adjust, try new strategies, and continue moving forward even when things change unexpectedly. This adaptability is not a weakness, it is a sign of wisdom. By being willing to adjust, you make it harder for challenges to stop you. Improving resilience also requires cultivating patience with yourself. Some challenges are not solved quickly, and expecting instant solutions only creates frustration. Patience helps you accept that progress takes time and that setbacks are a normal part of the process. Instead of demanding immediate success, you allow yourself to grow steadily. This patience keeps you from abandoning your goals the moment difficulty appears, and it strengthens your ability to keep trying even when the outcome is not immediate. Resilience is strengthened when you create supportive habits that reinforce your inner strength. Habits such as journaling about your struggles, setting aside time for reflection, practicing gratitude for the lessons in hardships, and setting small, achievable goals all contribute to resilience. These habits make challenges less overwhelming because you already have a system in place to process them. They remind you that you are not powerless, but instead equipped with strategies that keep you moving forward. Learning from challenges also involves practicing honesty with yourself. Instead of denying mistakes or pretending you are not struggling, resilience asks you to face the truth. Acknowledging that you made an error or that something did not go as planned does not weaken you, it makes you stronger, because honesty opens the door to growth. Denial, on the other hand, keeps you repeating the same mistakes. Resilience comes from looking at the truth directly and deciding how to improve from there. Another practical part of resilience is building problem-solving skills. When faced with a challenge, you can choose to dwell on the problem or search for solutions. Training your mind to focus on solutions instead of obstacles changes how you handle adversity. Instead of being consumed by frustration, you are actively searching for ways forward. Each time you solve a problem, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that challenges can be managed, and this fuels greater resilience. It is also important to remind yourself that resilience is not about never feeling discouraged. Everyone feels moments of doubt or frustration, but resilience is what helps you return to your path after those moments. Do not judge yourself for feeling low. Instead, recognize that resilience is measured by your ability to continue, not by never experiencing weakness. Every time you choose to rise again, even after falling, you strengthen your self-reliance. One of the greatest benefits of improving resilience is the sense of trust it creates in yourself. When you consistently learn from challenges instead of quitting, you build confidence that you can rely on yourself no matter what comes. This trust is life-changing because it frees you from dependence on outside approval or constant support. You realize that even when circumstances are tough, you have the ability to keep moving forward. That trust in yourself becomes the foundation for independence and lasting growth. Resilience is not built in a single moment, but in repeated choices. Each challenge you face gives you the opportunity to strengthen it. Each time you decide not to quit, you are proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. Over time, this repeated practice shapes your character and prepares you for bigger goals and responsibilities. The more you practice resilience, the more natural it becomes, until it is part of who you are. By learning from challenges without quitting, you transform difficulties into stepping stones. Instead of fearing hardship, you begin to welcome it as part of growth. You no longer see yourself as someone who must avoid struggle, but as someone who uses struggle to rise higher. This mindset is what allows you to depend on yourself fully, because you know you can handle whatever comes your way. Resilience becomes not just a skill but a way of living, and it carries you forward with strength, courage, and unshakable confidence. Chapter 9. Strengthen independence by managing your personal needs alone. Independence is not something that simply appears in your life. It is something you deliberately build by handling your own responsibilities, meeting your own needs, and proving to yourself that you can stand without constant support from others. Strengthening independence begins with a willingness to look at every area of your life and ask, what can I handle on my own? That simple question forces you to stop waiting for someone else to step in and instead take active ownership of your daily routines, your goals, and your well-being. When you manage your personal needs alone, you develop a sense of reliability within yourself. You no longer have to rely on promises or favors from others because you trust your own capacity to act. It starts with the most basic parts of life. Cooking your meals, keeping your living space in order, maintaining your health, paying your bills. These are not just tasks, they are training grounds for personal strength. Every time you choose to handle something by yourself rather than depend on someone else, you reinforce the message that you are capable. That confidence builds quietly, not in dramatic moments, but in the steady rhythm of meeting your own needs consistently. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, until independence feels less like an effort and more like your natural way of living. Managing your needs alone also requires discipline. It means showing up for yourself even when no one is watching. When the alarm rings, it's easy to delay or let things slide, but independence is about holding yourself accountable. You keep commitments to yourself with the same seriousness you would if someone else were depending on you. This habit of accountability strengthens your self-respect because you know you can trust yourself to follow through. That inner trust is the foundation of a truly independent life. You'll notice that independence doesn't mean shutting people out or refusing help altogether. It means knowing you are capable of handling your life and then choosing when to collaborate or accept help, not because you can't function without it, but because you decide to. When you develop this balance, your relationships improve. Others see that you are strong on your own, and they respect you more for it. You stop being a burden and start becoming someone who brings value, stability, and strength into the lives of those around you. A powerful part of managing your personal needs alone is developing financial independence. Money is one of the clearest measures of whether you are in control of your life or dependent on others. Earning your own income, living within your means, saving consistently, and being responsible with spending gives you freedom. It eliminates the feeling of being trapped by circumstances or controlled by someone else's generosity. Each dollar you manage wisely is another step towards self-reliance. It's not about having vast amounts of wealth. It's about knowing you can sustain yourself without leaning on anyone else to keep you afloat. Emotional independence is just as important. Many people tie their moods and decisions too tightly to the opinions and approval of others. When you practice managing your needs alone, you begin to separate your happiness from external validation. You learn to be content with your own company, make decisions based on your values, and create peace within yourself rather than waiting for someone else to provide it. This shift strengthens your resilience, because your stability doesn't crumble when people disagree with you or withdraw their support. You've learned that you are enough on your own. Every challenge you face becomes an opportunity to test your independence. Maybe something breaks in your home, and instead of immediately calling for help, you research, learn, and figure out how to handle it. Maybe you face a difficult decision, and instead of asking everyone around you what they would do, you sit with it, weigh the options, and trust your judgment. Each of these moments proves that you don't need to be rescued. You are your own solution. Over time, those small victories compound into deep confidence. Independence also requires preparation. Managing your personal needs means planning ahead, thinking critically, and anticipating challenges. You don't wait until your health deteriorates before you care for your body. You create habits now that support your well-being. You don't wait until you are in financial trouble before you learn about budgeting. You plan in advance. You don't wait until you are overwhelmed with responsibilities before you create systems to manage your time. By being proactive, you reduce the chances of being caught in situations where you are forced to rely on others. There will be times when being independent feels harder than leaning on others. It may feel lonely, exhausting, or even overwhelming at first. But these difficulties are part of the training. They teach you to be patient with yourself, to push through discomfort, and to grow stronger with each step. The reward is not just the satisfaction of saying I did this on my own, but the inner peace that comes from knowing you are capable no matter what happens around you. An independent person lives with a sense of freedom that cannot be given by anyone else. You don't have to wait for permission to act, and you don't live in fear of losing someone's support. You stand firmly on your own, secure in the knowledge that you can meet your needs, make your choices, and create your future. This freedom makes you more powerful in every area of life: relationships, work, health, and personal growth. Strengthening independence by managing your needs alone is a lifelong practice. It's not about grand gestures or sudden transformations. It's about the steady, daily commitment to take care of yourself, trust yourself, and rely on yourself. Each day you build a little more strength, a little more confidence, and a little more freedom. Over time, that independence becomes unshakable, and you become someone who moves through life with dignity, certainty, and true self-respect. Courage is not a sudden burst of boldness that appears in extraordinary moments. It is something built slowly, deliberately, and consistently through the choices you make each day. The truth about fear is that it never truly disappears. It waits quietly, testing your confidence, whispering reasons to hold back, convincing you that safety lies in avoidance. But the more you give in to it, the stronger it becomes. The way to weaken fear is not by running from it or denying it, but by facing it in manageable steps that prove to yourself that you are stronger than your doubts. Small actions may not seem powerful in the moment, but they carry enormous weight over time. For example, if you fear speaking up in front of others, courage does not begin with delivering a speech to a large audience. It starts with sharing your opinion in a small group, or even practicing your thoughts aloud in private. Each time you do it, your fear loses some of its grip. By repeating these actions, you send a message to yourself that fear does not control your decisions. You are teaching your mind and body that you can step forward even while feeling discomfort. That is how courage grows, incrementally but steadily. The challenge most people face is waiting for fear to vanish before they act. They believe courage means feeling no fear at all. In reality, courage means acting despite the fear, one step at a time. If you wait until fear disappears, you may spend a lifetime standing still. But if you commit to small steps, you learn that the discomfort fades as your experience grows. That knowledge empowers you to take the next step, and then the next, until what once terrified you becomes something you now handle with ease. Consistency is crucial in this process. Facing fear once might give you a momentary victory, but true courage is built when you confront it again and again. Like training a muscle, it requires repetition. The more often you practice confronting your fears in small doses, the stronger your resilience becomes. You no longer see fear as a wall blocking your way, but as a signal that you are stepping into growth. Over time, this shift in perspective makes you braver, not just in one area, but in every aspect of life. Consider how children learn to swim. They do not begin in deep waters. They start by dipping their feet in, then standing in the shallow end, then slowly learning to float. Each step builds familiarity, reducing the sense of danger and increasing confidence. Adults must approach fear in the same way. Whatever your fear, rejection, failure, change, or uncertainty, the key is to break it down into small, approachable challenges and face them consistently until they lose their power over you. This process also trains your mind to respond differently to fear. Normally, when fear appears, the instinct is to retreat, to choose safety over progress. But when you repeatedly face fear in controlled, small ways, your mind learns a new pattern. Fear means move forward, not backward. That rewiring of your thinking is where true transformation happens. Eventually, you may even welcome the feeling of fear, because you know it points you toward areas where you have the opportunity to grow stronger. Another important part of building courage is embracing imperfection. Many people hesitate to face fears because they want to wait until they feel completely prepared. But preparation only goes so far. The real growth comes from stepping into the unknown, making mistakes, and learning from them. Each attempt, no matter how small, teaches you something new about yourself. Courage is not about flawless execution. It is about showing up despite uncertainty and refusing to let fear make your choices for you. The more you practice, the more you realize that fear often exaggerates reality. What you imagine in your mind, failure, humiliation, rejection, is almost always worse than what actually happens. But you cannot learn this truth until you take action. Each small step exposes fear's lies and replaces them with evidence of your capability. When you look back, you will see how far you've come, not because you took a giant leap, but because you kept moving forward when it was easier to stand still. Building courage through small actions also spills into every other area of your life. Once you prove to yourself that you can handle fear in one area, you begin to trust yourself in others. The person who learns to speak up in small conversations finds it easier later to lead meetings or defend their ideas. The person who begins by saving a little money despite fear of scarcity gains the confidence to invest in larger opportunities. Each act of courage creates momentum that fuels the next, until fear no longer feels like an immovable obstacle but rather a temporary sensation that passes once you act. There will be moments when progress feels slow, and you may wonder if these small steps matter. In those times, remind yourself that courage is built over a lifetime. Each action you take compounds even if you cannot see the results immediately. Just as drops of water eventually carve stone, Consistent small actions against fear reshape who you are. The key is persistence. Do not allow yourself to slip back into avoidance just because the process feels gradual. Trust that every step forward, no matter how small, makes you stronger. It is also helpful to reflect on your victories. When you face a fear, even in a minor way, acknowledge it. Give yourself credit for the effort, not just the outcome. This recognition reinforces the habit and reminds you that you are progressing. Over time, your confidence grows not from waiting for fear to vanish, but from a long record of showing up regardless of it. That record is what creates unshakable courage. Ultimately, courage is about living freely. Fear wants to confine you, to keep you in a narrow box where everything feels safe but stagnant. By facing fear with small, consistent actions, you break out of that box. You expand what is possible for yourself, step by step, and as your courage grows, you realize that life opens in proportion to your willingness to face fear. Each act of bravery, no matter how minor it seems, is a declaration that fear does not decide your future. You do. Chapter 10. Build courage by facing fears with consistent small actions. Chapter 16. Grow clarity by writing down your daily priorities. Clarity is the cornerstone of effective action, and writing down daily priorities is one of the most practical methods to achieve it. Without a clear sense of what truly matters, energy is scattered, decisions become reactive, and progress slows. By committing your most important tasks to paper each day, you create a map for action, a tangible guide that directs attention and effort toward meaningful outcomes. The act of writing crystallizes thoughts, organizes intentions, and transforms abstract goals into concrete steps that can be executed with focus and purpose. When you write down your priorities, you begin to distinguish between what is urgent and what is important. Many people confuse activity with productivity, filling their days with tasks that feel pressing but contribute little to long-term goals. By defining daily priorities, you allocate energy to actions that have a real impact. This selective approach reduces wasted effort, prevents overwhelm, and ensures that your time produces measurable results. Each morning or evening, reviewing and recording the tasks that matter most focuses your mind and establishes a framework for intentional living. Writing priorities also strengthens decision-making. The process of articulating what must be done forces evaluation and choice. You are compelled to consider which tasks are essential, which can be delegated, and which can be postponed or eliminated. This clarity reduces indecision and hesitation, making it easier to act promptly and with confidence. When priorities are externalized on paper, mental clutter diminishes, freeing cognitive resources to solve problems and execute tasks efficiently. Consistency in this practice amplifies its impact. Making a habit of writing daily priorities creates a rhythm that organizes your day around purpose rather than reaction. Over time, the act of setting priorities becomes automatic, sharpening focus and reinforcing discipline. Daily reflection on what has been accomplished and what remains ensures that attention stays aligned with goals. This ongoing loop of planning, action, and review produces sustained clarity and accelerates progress. Writing priorities also enhances accountability. When tasks are recorded, it is easier to track commitments, monitor progress, and evaluate effectiveness. Each completed priority serves as tangible evidence of action, reinforcing self-trust and motivation. Accountability need not rely on external oversight. The simple act of documenting intentions and outcomes creates a personal standard of responsibility that strengthens integrity and discipline. Prioritization encourages intentional energy allocation. Every individual has finite mental and physical resources, and dividing them among tasks without a clear plan often leads to fatigue and inefficiency. By writing down daily priorities, energy is directed toward high-impact actions rather than dispersed across trivial matters. Focused effort produces greater results in less time, demonstrating that clarity and productivity are inseparable. Writing priorities cultivates mindfulness. Pausing each day to consider what is most important fosters awareness of both short-term and long-term objectives. This reflection prevents reactive living and encourages deliberate choices. Mindfulness gained through this process improves emotional regulation, reduces stress, and strengthens the ability to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Each recorded priority is an intentional act of self-guidance that aligns actions with values and goals. Breaking down priorities into actionable steps increases effectiveness. Large objectives can feel overwhelming, but writing specific actions to accomplish them clarifies the path forward. Detailing steps transforms vague intentions into a roadmap for progress, making execution simpler and less intimidating. Each step completed provides measurable achievement, reinforcing commitment to daily priorities and building momentum for continued growth. Flexibility is essential, even when writing priorities. Life is unpredictable, and circumstances may require adjustment. Priorities should be revisited and revised as needed, maintaining alignment with overall goals. This balance between structure and adaptability allows consistent progress without rigidity, ensuring that priorities remain relevant and achievable despite changing conditions. Flexibility also teaches resilience, enabling you to respond to challenges without losing focus or direction. Writing priorities strengthens mental discipline. The repeated practice of identifying, recording, and acting on important tasks trains the mind to focus and resist distractions. Mental energy is conserved when clear priorities guide attention, reducing stress and increasing the capacity for sustained effort. Discipline developed through this practice extends to other areas of life, creating a habit of intentional action that supports personal and professional growth. Each priority written and completed reinforces confidence. Progress becomes visible, and the sense of accomplishment strengthens belief in your capability to manage responsibility effectively. Confidence grows not from abstract plans, but from tangible action and consistent follow-through. The more regularly you record and complete priorities, the more trust you build in your own judgment and ability to execute. Writing priorities also improves time management. Clarity about what must be done allows for better scheduling, prevents procrastination, and reduces wasted effort. Tasks are completed in order of importance, avoiding unnecessary delay and increasing efficiency. Time becomes a tool rather than a constraint, allowing you to achieve more while maintaining balance and focus throughout the day. Reflection on completed priorities provides insight for continuous improvement. By reviewing what was accomplished, what was postponed, and what could be approached differently, you gain understanding of patterns, strengths, and weaknesses. This reflection informs future priority setting, making subsequent planning more effective and precise. Each day becomes a learning experience, with clarity evolving and improving continuously. Writing priorities also promotes emotional clarity. Decisions about what to focus on help manage feelings of overwhelm, reduce anxiety, and foster a sense of control. By externalizing tasks, the mind is freed from holding them in constant attention, allowing energy to be devoted to deliberate execution rather than mental strain. Emotional stability enhances decision-making and supports sustained action toward meaningful objectives. Consistency in recording daily priority encourages habit formation. The more frequently you engage in this practice, the more natural it becomes to approach each day with intentionality. This habit establishes a framework for disciplined living, guiding behavior and reinforcing a mindset oriented toward achievement and responsibility. Habitual prioritization transforms scattered effort into coordinated progress. Clarity gained through writing priorities extends to relationships and communication. When you understand what is essential, you can communicate intentions and boundaries effectively. Others benefit from your organized approach, and collaboration becomes more efficient. Clear priorities ensure that interactions are purposeful, tasks are delegated appropriately, and collective efforts are aligned toward shared objectives. Writing daily priorities strengthens resilience. Challenges and distractions inevitably arise, but having a clear plan allows you to navigate interruptions without losing focus. A well-defined set of tasks provides stability and direction, making it easier to recover from setbacks and maintain momentum. This resilience supports long-term achievement and fosters confidence in managing complex responsibilities. Prioritization encourages proactive behavior. By defining important tasks ahead of time, you move from reactive responses to deliberate action. Anticipating what must be done and acting on it proactively positions you to seize opportunities, prevent problems, and exert greater control over outcomes. This proactive approach reduces stress and increases effectiveness in both personal and professional life. Writing daily priorities ultimately builds a framework for sustained success. The habit strengthens focus, enhances discipline, improves time management, and promotes resilience. Each priority recorded and acted upon compounds over time, creating measurable progress, reinforcing self-trust, and solidifying the ability to live intentionally. Through this practice, clarity is transformed from a vague concept into a daily experience that guides decisions, actions, and achievements with precision and purpose. Chapter 17. Improve confidence by celebrating small wins you create. Confidence is built steadily through action and recognition, and one of the most practical ways to strengthen it is by celebrating the small wins you create each day. Many people focus solely on big achievements, believing that confidence only comes from extraordinary success, but this approach often leads to discouragement and stagnation. True self-assurance grows from acknowledging the progress you make, no matter how minor it may seem. Each small victory serves as evidence of your capability, reinforcing the belief that you can act effectively, overcome obstacles, and achieve your goals. Celebrating small wins begins with awareness. You must notice your accomplishments, even if they appear trivial at first. Completing a task you had been putting off, finishing a difficult project step, or successfully managing a challenging conversation are all worthy of recognition. These moments demonstrate skill, persistence, and intentional action. By giving attention to these victories, you create a mental record of success that strengthens your self-esteem and motivation. Acknowledgement is critical. It is not enough to achieve a small win. You must take the time to consciously recognize it. This could involve jotting it down in a journal, sharing it with a trusted friend, or simply pausing to appreciate your effort. Recognition validates your progress and reinforces the value of your actions. Over time, this practice trains the mind to notice positive results, creating a feedback loop that nurtures confidence and encourages continued effort. Small wins build momentum. Confidence is cumulative, and each success, however minor, adds weight to your belief in your abilities. Completing one small task creates energy and motivation to tackle the next challenge. This momentum transforms effort into progress, making it easier to confront increasingly difficult tasks without fear or hesitation. Momentum derived from small wins ensures that confidence grows naturally, grounded in real achievements rather than imagined potential. Celebrating small wins also combats self-doubt. In moments of uncertainty, Recognizing your past accomplishments provides evidence that you can succeed again. Doubt often stems from focusing on failures or what has not yet been achieved. By consistently acknowledging progress, you shift focus from limitation to capability. This mental shift reinforces resilience, encourages persistence, and strengthens the foundation of self-trust necessary for consistent achievement. Reflection enhances the value of small wins. Taking a moment to consider what actions led to success, the challenges overcome, and the skills applied deepens learning and reinforces growth. Reflection allows you to understand not only that you succeeded, but also why and how, providing insight for future decisions. This conscious evaluation reinforces competence, builds clarity, and strengthens confidence by linking effort with results in a meaningful way. Celebrating small wins encourages consistency. By recognizing the value of each step, you create positive reinforcement that motivates continued action. Progress becomes visible and tangible, reducing the likelihood of procrastination or loss of focus. Daily attention to these victories fosters a disciplined approach to goals, emphasizing that success is the accumulation of repeated, intentional efforts rather than sporadic achievements. Expressing pride in small accomplishments reinforces self-worth. Confidence is rooted in self-perception, and acknowledging even modest successes signals that your effort and ability matter. This affirmation strengthens identity, helping you internalize the idea that you are capable, competent, and able to influence your outcomes. The more you recognize your contributions, the more confident you become in tackling challenges of increasing complexity. Small wins promote a growth mindset. Each success, no matter how minor, reinforces the belief that effort leads to improvement. Confidence is not about innate talent alone. It is about the proven ability to act, learn, and advance. Recognizing achievements emphasizes the link between action and results, creating a mindset focused on progress, learning, and possibility rather than limitation or fear of failure. Consistency in celebrating victories enhances emotional resilience. Life presents setbacks and challenges, and it is easy to feel defeated when focusing only on what has not been achieved. Noticing small wins balances perspective, providing a record of accomplishment that strengthens morale and determination. Emotional resilience grows from this practice, allowing you to face obstacles with confidence, perseverance, and a sense of control. Small wins encourage proactive behavior. When you recognize progress, you are more likely to take initiative and seek out new opportunities. Action becomes self-reinforcing as each success motivates further effort. Confidence grows, not from passivity, but from repeated engagement, experimentation, and achievement. Celebrating these wins reinforces the habit of taking action and demonstrates that consistent effort produces meaningful results. Sharing victories amplifies their impact. Communicating small successes with trusted colleagues, mentors, or friends provides additional reinforcement. Social acknowledgement enhances motivation and creates a network of support that celebrates growth alongside you. Sharing accomplishments also models positive behavior for others, fostering an environment where progress is noticed, valued, and encouraged. Gratitude for small wins strengthens mental focus. Appreciating achievements reinforces attention to detail, awareness of effort, and recognition of capability. Gratitude shifts perception from scarcity or inadequacy to abundance and potential. This positive perspective nurtures confidence by highlighting the results of deliberate action and maintaining motivation even in challenging circumstances. Celebrating small wins builds courage to tackle larger challenges. Recognizing competence in manageable tasks creates a foundation of confidence that makes bigger objectives feel attainable. Each win acts as a building block, supporting more ambitious action and fostering the belief that challenges can be overcome. Gradual accumulation of success reduces fear, increases willingness to take calculated risks, and strengthens resilience in facing adversity. Small wins also enhance strategic thinking. By tracking achievements and evaluating progress, you develop insight into effective approaches, methods, and priorities. Confidence grows not only in action, but also in judgment. Awareness of patterns of success allows you to make better decisions, allocate effort wisely, and approach goals with clarity and efficiency. This strategic reinforcement further amplifies self-assurance and capability. Acknowledging small wins nurtures intrinsic motivation. External rewards are helpful, but lasting confidence arises from internal recognition of effort and achievement. Celebrating your own progress strengthens self-driven ambition and commitment to improvement. Motivation becomes sustained, independent of external validation, and grounded in personal accountability, reinforcing the habit of deliberate action and continued growth. Confidence gained from small wins improves communication and leadership. Individuals who recognize their achievements are more likely to speak with authority, assert themselves, and influence others positively. Awareness of capability translates into more decisive behavior, better collaboration, and the ability to inspire action in those around you. Recognizing small wins contributes not only to personal confidence, but also to social and professional effectiveness. Finally, celebrating small wins cultivates a mindset oriented toward possibility and growth. Every step forward is proof that effort matters, that challenges can be met, and that goals are attainable. Confidence is not built overnight, but through steady recognition of progress, deliberate reflection, and consistent acknowledgement of success. By committing to notice, honor, and learn from each small win, you develop a resilient, empowered, and confident self capable of achieving meaningful goals and navigating life with assurance and clarity. Chapter 18. Build strength by waking early and owning your mornings. Waking early is one of the most practical ways to develop personal strength, discipline, and control over your life. The morning hours are a period of high potential when the mind is fresh, energy levels are strong, and external distractions are minimal. By establishing the habit of rising early, you create a foundation for intentional living, allowing time for planning, reflection, and productive action before the demands of the day take over. Owning your mornings means using this time purposefully to set the tone for your entire day, rather than allowing habits, obligations, or distractions to dictate your pace. Strength begins with consistency. Rising early every day requires a commitment to a structured routine and a willingness to overcome the natural pull of comfort and sleep. This consistency builds willpower by exercising control over immediate desires in favor of long-term benefits. Each day that you choose to wake early strengthens the mental habit of discipline, reinforcing the capacity to act deliberately and resist procrastination. Over time, this repeated practice transforms a simple act into a reliable foundation for self-mastery. Morning routines provide a unique opportunity for reflection and goal setting. When you wake before the noise and activity of the world begins, you have a window to evaluate priorities, plan tasks, and align actions with your broader objectives. This time allows mental clarity and focus, reducing stress and increasing efficiency throughout the day. By beginning the day with purpose, you are better equipped to tackle challenges, make decisions, and approach tasks with energy and intention. Physical health and energy are enhanced through early rising. Incorporating exercise, stretching, or movement in the morning supports both physical strength and mental alertness. Regular activity in the first hours of the day stimulates metabolism, increases stamina, and sharpens focus. Nutrition during this time, when paired with movement, also establishes healthy habits that contribute to long-term vitality. Owning the morning in this way strengthens not only the body, but also the mind and spirit, creating a holistic sense of personal power. Early mornings provide time for uninterrupted learning and self-improvement. Reading, journaling, meditating, or engaging in skill development is easier before external demands intrude. Consistently using this time for personal growth builds competence, knowledge, and confidence, contributing to a stronger sense of self. Small incremental improvements made each morning accumulate into substantial progress over weeks and months, demonstrating that strength is developed through regular, intentional effort rather than sporadic bursts. Mental resilience is fostered by rising early. Adjusting to an earlier schedule challenges habitual comfort zones and strengthens the mind's ability to adapt. The discipline required to leave the warmth of sleep and embrace the demands of the morning translates to greater resilience throughout the day. Facing this small daily challenge reinforces confidence in your ability to overcome obstacles and enhances the mindset of personal responsibility, preparing you to handle larger challenges with composure and determination. Clarity of thought improves when mornings are owned. The quiet hours allow the mind to organize, prioritize, and process without interruption. Important decisions, creative ideas, and problem-solving emerge more readily when the brain is not bombarded with distractions. Writing down thoughts, planning tasks, or visualizing goals during this time strengthens cognitive control and ensures that actions taken later are aligned with your intentions. By directing your focus first thing, you set a structured trajectory for the rest of the day. Time management is strengthened by early rising. The extra hours provide flexibility, reduce the sense of urgency, and allow tasks to be scheduled effectively. Starting earlier often means you can address critical responsibilities with calm and attention rather than rushing to meet deadlines. Efficient use of morning hours increases productivity, reduces stress, and establishes a rhythm that enables better decision-making and action throughout the day. Building strength through mornings also enhances emotional regulation. Waking early and engaging in deliberate practices such as journaling, meditation, or reflection allows emotional processing before interacting with the world. This preparation reduces reactivity, improves patience, and increases the ability to respond thoughtfully in personal and professional situations. Emotional strength develops alongside discipline, creating a more balanced, grounded approach to challenges. Incremental achievements in the morning create momentum. Completing tasks, setting intentions, and acting proactively early in the day generates a sense of accomplishment that carries forward. Momentum fosters motivation, resilience, and confidence, making subsequent challenges easier to approach. Each morning of deliberate action compounds with the previous, producing sustained progress and reinforcing the habit of strength through consistency. Waking early strengthens self-reliance. You are no longer dependent on external schedules or distractions to dictate the flow of your day. By choosing to rise and act proactively, you take ownership of your time, energy, and focus. This self-reliance extends beyond mornings, reinforcing the mindset of independence and personal responsibility in all aspects of life. Each day that begins with deliberate choice strengthens the perception of control and capability. Early mornings encourage strategic thinking. The quiet hours provide space to evaluate long-term goals, assess challenges, and plan actions strategically. By considering priorities in a calm environment, you can approach decisions with clarity rather than reacting impulsively. Strategic thinking developed through this practice enhances effectiveness, reduces errors, and strengthens confidence in your judgment. Small steps taken in the morning cultivate habits that compound into strength. Tasks like organizing your space, preparing meals, reviewing goals, or exercising may seem minor individually, but their consistent execution shapes discipline, endurance, and focus. Habits established in the early hours set a precedent for behavior throughout the day, demonstrating that strength is built incrementally through repeated, deliberate action. Morning strength reinforces accountability. By holding yourself responsible for waking early and using that time productively, you cultivate self-trust and reliability. Each completed morning routine is evidence of your capability to act consistently and purposefully. This personal accountability strengthens confidence and establishes a foundation for broader success across other areas of life. Focus and attention are enhanced by owning the morning. With fewer distractions, the mind can concentrate on meaningful work, reflection, or planning. This concentrated focus builds mental endurance and reinforces the ability to maintain attention throughout the day. Strength grows as sustained focus becomes habitual, supporting higher levels of performance and achievement. Rising early develops patience and perseverance. Adjusting to a new schedule requires persistence, especially when facing the initial discomfort of altered sleep patterns. Overcoming resistance strengthens willpower and reinforces the principle that consistent effort leads to mastery. Patience cultivated in the mornings translates into other areas, making it easier to handle challenges and delays without losing composure or commitment. Morning routines can integrate practices that strengthen both mind and body. Reading, meditation, journaling, exercise, or skill development can be systematically included to maximize growth. Consistent engagement in these practices enhances resilience, discipline, and capability, creating a sense of strength that permeates daily life. Each element contributes to a holistic approach that reinforces the connection between action, growth, and self-mastery. Early rising also cultivates gratitude and perspective. Witnessing the beginning of a day, experiencing quiet reflection, and acknowledging opportunities fosters appreciation for life and its possibilities. Gratitude nurtures mental strength, emotional stability, and motivation, ensuring that each day begins with intentionality and positivity. This mindset strengthens overall resilience and encourages proactive engagement with the world. Owning mornings ultimately creates a life structured around intention rather than reaction. The discipline to wake early, plan, reflect, and act purposefully fosters independence, resilience, clarity, and momentum. Strength is developed not through singular heroic actions, but through repeated, deliberate, and consistent efforts. By prioritizing the early hours, you claim control of your day, your actions, and ultimately your life, laying the foundation for sustained personal growth, achievement, and fulfillment. Chapter 19. Strengthen discipline by finishing what you start always. Discipline is built through action, and one of the most reliable ways to strengthen it is by finishing what you start consistently. Many people begin projects, commitments, or goals with enthusiasm but fail to see them through, losing momentum and confidence in the process. Completing what you begin is not just about crossing items off a list. It is about cultivating integrity, mental fortitude, and trust in your own abilities. Each task completed reinforces the habit of follow-through, creating a foundation for greater achievements and self-reliance. The first step in strengthening discipline is commitment. Before starting a task, you must consciously decide that you will see it through to completion. This decision acts as a contract with yourself, establishing accountability and focus. When you approach tasks with this mindset, you are less likely to succumb to distractions, excuses, or the temptation to abandon progress. Commitment transforms action into a deliberate choice rather than a fleeting impulse. Breaking tasks into manageable steps makes completion achievable. Large goals can feel overwhelming, causing procrastination and avoidance. By dividing work into smaller, actionable components, you make it easier to sustain effort and maintain focus. Each step completed is a micro-victory, reinforcing the habit of follow-through and gradually building the stamina needed to tackle more complex objectives. Completing these incremental steps consistently develops confidence in your capacity to manage responsibility. Maintaining focus is essential for finishing what you start. Distractions, interruptions, and competing priorities are constant challenges, and discipline grows through the ability to resist these influences. Setting clear boundaries, dedicating uninterrupted time, and concentrating fully on the task at hand are practical ways to strengthen attention. Sustained focus ensures progress, prevents delays, and cultivates a sense of control over your actions and outcomes. Accountability amplifies discipline. Holding yourself responsible for finishing tasks reinforces the importance of follow-through. Tracking progress, setting deadlines, and regularly reviewing commitments ensures that nothing is left incomplete due to neglect or indecision. Personal accountability is the internal mechanism that drives consistency and fosters self-trust. When you consistently meet your own standards, discipline becomes ingrained, supporting every area of your life. Persistence is a key component of discipline. Challenges, obstacles, and setbacks are inevitable, but the habit of completing what you start teaches resilience. Every time you push through difficulty to finish a task, you strengthen mental toughness and reinforce the belief that obstacles can be overcome. This persistence translates to larger goals and long-term ambitions, demonstrating that discipline is cultivated through consistent effort under varying conditions. Recognizing the value of completion motivates continued effort. Tasks that remain unfinished create mental clutter, stress, and a sense of incompleteness. Conversely, completing work produces satisfaction, a sense of accomplishment, and positive reinforcement. This psychological benefit encourages further action and establishes a feedback loop where discipline grows naturally through the recognition of tangible results. Self-reflection enhances the habit of finishing what you start. Evaluating why a task was completed successfully or why a project was abandoned in the past provides insight into behavior patterns, strengths, and weaknesses. Reflection allows you to adjust strategies, strengthen commitment, and refine approaches to ensure that future tasks are consistently completed. This conscious analysis reinforces learning, personal growth, and long-term discipline. Developing consistency is central to strengthening discipline. Completing tasks regularly, even small or mundane ones, builds the muscle of follow-through. Repetition creates automaticity, reducing the mental resistance associated with starting or continuing work. Over time, consistent completion becomes a default behavior, embedding discipline into daily life and creating momentum for larger accomplishments. Time management supports the ability to finish tasks. Allocating sufficient, focused time for each commitment ensures that tasks are addressed fully rather than partially. Planning the day, prioritizing responsibilities, and scheduling dedicated periods for work reduces the likelihood of procrastination and promotes completion. Effective use of time reinforces self-discipline by transforming intentions into executed actions. Overcoming perfectionism is vital. Waiting for ideal conditions or fearing imperfection can prevent tasks from being completed. Discipline grows when you accept that progress and completion matter more than flawless execution. Finishing work, even when it is not perfect, builds confidence, experience, and competence while allowing learning and improvement to occur along the way. Completion becomes a standard of progress rather than an obstacle to fear. Celebrating finished work reinforces discipline. Acknowledging when tasks are completed strengthens motivation and internalizes the value of follow-through. Each completed project, no matter how small, is evidence of your capability and determination. Recognition of accomplishment builds confidence and creates a positive association with disciplined action, making future efforts easier to sustain. Finishing what you start nurtures responsibility. Every completed task demonstrates ownership of actions and outcomes. Discipline is strengthened when you consistently follow through, proving that you can rely on yourself. This reliability extends beyond individual tasks to relationships, work, and long-term goals, establishing trust in your own abilities and fostering integrity in every area of life. Focus on intrinsic motivation enhances the ability to complete tasks. When tasks are pursued with personal purpose and value rather than external pressure, engagement and persistence increase. Understanding why a task matters, what benefits completion brings, and how it aligns with personal growth strengthens commitment and ensures sustained effort until the objective is achieved. Anticipating obstacles improves the habit of finishing tasks. By predicting potential challenges and preparing strategies to overcome them, you reduce the likelihood of abandonment. Planning for difficulty, maintaining flexibility, and adjusting methods when necessary ensures that work progresses even under adverse conditions. Discipline grows as resilience and problem-solving reinforce the capacity to see projects through despite setbacks. Finishing tasks improves mental clarity. Unfinished work creates stress, distraction, and mental clutter. Completing responsibilities reduces anxiety, frees cognitive resources, and allows focus on subsequent objectives. This clarity supports decision-making, increases productivity, and strengthens the ability to maintain disciplined action across multiple areas simultaneously. Habitual follow-through builds long-term confidence. Each completed task reinforces the belief in your own competence, judgment, and endurance. Over time, a record of finished work establishes a foundation of self-trust, demonstrating that you can take action, overcome obstacles, and achieve results. This confidence in turn reinforces discipline, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of growth and achievement. Completing what you start fosters strategic thinking. You learn to plan, prioritize, and execute more effectively when tasks are finished consistently. Patterns of success reveal which approaches work best, allowing future efforts to be more efficient and focused. Discipline and strategic insight develop together, enhancing capability and performance in both personal and professional endeavors. Finishing tasks strengthens resilience to external pressures. Distractions, opinions, and unexpected events can derail progress, but the habit of follow-through teaches the ability to stay committed regardless of circumstances. This resilience ensures that discipline is maintained even when external conditions are challenging, supporting continuous progress and growth. In the end, strengthening discipline by finishing what you start is a practical and transformative approach to personal growth. Each completed task reinforces self-trust, builds confidence, sharpens focus, and nurtures resilience. Discipline is not about perfection or occasional bursts of effort. It is about consistent, deliberate follow-through. By committing to see projects and responsibilities through to completion, you develop a reliable, empowered self capable of achieving meaningful goals and navigating life with purpose and strength. Chapter 20. Grow independence by creating solutions instead of complaints. Independence is built through proactive thinking and intentional action, and one of the most practical ways to develop it is by creating solutions instead of complaining. Complaints focus attention on problems without producing results, leaving energy, time, and potential untapped. By shifting the mindset from criticism to problem solving, you take control of circumstances and cultivate self-reliance. Each time you respond with a solution rather than a complaint, you reinforce your ability to influence outcomes and develop the confidence that you are capable of managing challenges effectively. The first step in fostering this habit is awareness. Notice when the impulse to complain arises and consciously choose to pause before reacting. This moment of reflection allows you to redirect your energy toward identifying actionable steps. Awareness trains the mind to recognize patterns of negativity and interrupts automatic responses, replacing them with constructive thought. The more consistently you practice this, the more natural it becomes to approach difficulties with a solution-oriented mindset. Problem solving requires clarity. Define the issue accurately and objectively without allowing emotion or frustration to distort perception. Understanding the root of a problem ensures that the solutions you create are effective and sustainable. Clarity transforms vague dissatisfaction into actionable insight and provides a roadmap for independent action. The ability to analyze situations logically is foundational to independence and separates productive action from idle complaint. Taking initiative is essential. Waiting for others to provide guidance or to solve problems diminishes independence. By identifying actionable steps and implementing them, you establish ownership of outcomes. Initiative demonstrates confidence in your judgment and reinforces the habit of self-reliance. Even small actions taken toward resolving an issue accumulate, creating tangible results that build momentum and trust in your capabilities. Creativity strengthens the habit of generating solutions. Challenges often require thinking beyond conventional approaches and considering alternative methods. Experimenting with new strategies develops flexibility and adaptability, skills critical to independent problem solving. By cultivating creative thinking, you expand your capacity to handle unexpected situations and reinforce the mindset that obstacles are opportunities for action rather than sources of frustration. Practical application is key. Begin with manageable problems that are within your control. Focus on what you can change rather than external factors beyond influence. Addressing small issues with actionable steps builds confidence and establishes a record of effective problem solving. Gradually, this practice scales to more complex challenges, demonstrating that independence grows through repeated experience and consistent effort. Responsibility accompanies solution-oriented thinking. By creating answers rather than complaining, you assume ownership of your circumstances. This accountability strengthens self-trust and reinforces the understanding that you are capable of shaping your environment. Responsibility also cultivates discipline, as consistent effort is required to implement and follow through on solutions effectively. Mindset is critical to sustaining this practice. Embrace challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, rather than as burdens. Viewing difficulties as chances to apply skill, creativity, and judgment shifts focus from limitation to possibility. A mindset centered on solutions reinforces resilience, encourages proactive behavior, and fosters the confidence necessary for independent action. Observation and evaluation enhance the effectiveness of solutions. Monitor outcomes to determine whether actions produce the desired effect. Adjust methods based on feedback and experience, continuously improving problem-solving skills. This iterative approach strengthens competence, reinforces accountability, and ensures that independence is grounded in practical results rather than idealized notions of capability. Confidence grows through repeated problem solving. Each successful solution validates judgment, decision-making, and effort. Confidence is reinforced by evidence of capability, which reduces reliance on others for guidance or approval. This self-assuredness encourages taking initiative in increasingly complex situations, solidifying independence and establishing a proactive approach to life's challenges. Time management supports solution-oriented behavior. Allocate attention to problems that are significant and within your sphere of influence. Prioritize actions that create the most impact, ensuring that energy is directed efficiently. Effective use of time reinforces the principle that independence is not passive, but requires deliberate and focused effort to produce meaningful outcomes. Communication strengthens the impact of solutions. Clearly articulating proposed actions and collaborating, when appropriate, enhances effectiveness. Independent problem solving does not exclude interaction, but it relies on clarity, confidence, and assertiveness rather than complaint or reliance on others to act. Effective communication reinforces competence, credibility, and the ability to influence outcomes positively. Persistence is essential. Solutions often require multiple attempts, adjustments, and sustained effort. Complaints rarely produce change, but continued action gradually transforms circumstances. Perseverance strengthens resilience, reinforces accountability, and demonstrates that independence is achieved through dedication and persistent effort rather than avoidance or reliance on external intervention. Resourcefulness enhances the habit of creating solutions. Identifying tools, information, and strategies that can address challenges improves the likelihood of success. By cultivating resourcefulness, you reduce dependence on others and expand your capacity to manage diverse situations. Resourcefulness reinforces confidence, creativity, and self-reliance, key components of sustained independence. Emotional regulation supports productive problem solving. Complaints often stem from frustration, anger, or impatience. Managing emotions ensures that energy is directed toward actionable solutions rather than unproductive venting. Emotional discipline reinforces clarity, focus, and effectiveness, allowing challenges to be approached rationally and constructively. Reflection strengthens learning and growth. After implementing a solution, evaluate what worked, what could be improved, and how the experience can inform future actions. Reflection transforms isolated efforts into a cumulative process of skill development, reinforcing confidence and independence. Learning from each situation ensures that the habit of problem-solving evolves and strengthens over time. Celebrating progress reinforces motivation. Recognizing each effective solution, no matter how small, encourages continued effort and reinforces the value of independent action. Celebration affirms capability, sustains energy, and reinforces the mindset that challenges are opportunities to exercise skill, judgment, and initiative. This acknowledgement solidifies the habit of solution-focused behavior. Focus on what is controllable reinforces practical independence. Concentrating on factors you can influence reduces wasted energy and prevents frustration. Identifying areas where action is possible ensures that effort produces meaningful outcomes. This focus strengthens decision-making, clarity, and the belief that you can shape circumstances through deliberate action rather than reliance on external forces. Problem-solving builds credibility and influence. Individuals who consistently generate solutions are trusted, respected, and relied upon. Independent action enhances reputation and creates opportunities to lead, guide, and collaborate effectively. Strength developed through solution-oriented behavior extends beyond personal growth, impacting social and professional dynamics positively. Independence flourishes through repeated practice. Each instance where you create a solution instead of complaining strengthens self-reliance, confidence, and resilience. Over time, this approach becomes habitual, ingraining a mindset of action, accountability, and capability. Life becomes guided by choice and initiative rather than reaction and complaint, reinforcing personal strength and autonomy. Ultimately, growing independence by creating solutions instead of complaints transforms the way challenges are approached and outcomes are achieved. It builds confidence, responsibility, resilience, and strategic thinking. By focusing on actionable steps, embracing accountability, and sustaining effort, you develop the ability to influence your environment effectively. Independence is not merely a concept. It is demonstrated through deliberate action, consistent problem-solving, and a commitment to proactive engagement with life's challenges. This practice ensures that each day is met with agency, competence, and the knowledge that you are capable of shaping your own path through thoughtful, solution-oriented action. Chapter 11. Grow knowledge by reading and learning something each day. Knowledge is the foundation of growth. Yet it is not something that accumulates by chance. It is built intentionally through daily learning and consistent effort to expand your understanding. Every day offers an opportunity to learn something new, whether it is through reading, observation, listening, or reflection. The person who chooses to grow knowledge every day develops a mind that is adaptable, capable, and confident. Learning should never be a sporadic event. It must be a disciplined habit, a daily commitment to improve your understanding of the world and yourself. By consistently adding small amounts of knowledge, you create a compounding effect that transforms your perspective and capabilities over time. Reading is one of the most powerful tools for gaining knowledge. Books, articles, and reliable online sources provide structured insights, experiences, and ideas from people who have already navigated challenges and discovered solutions. But reading alone is not enough. To grow knowledge effectively, you must engage actively with what you read. Take notes, ask questions, and consider how the information applies to your life. This active engagement turns information into understanding and understanding into actionable wisdom. Even reading for 15 minutes a day consistently creates a foundation of knowledge that will grow exponentially over months and years. Daily learning does not need to be complicated. Observing the world around you, asking questions, and seeking practical answers are all effective ways to gain insight. When you encounter a problem at work, research solutions and learn the reasoning behind effective approaches. When you speak with someone experienced, pay attention and absorb lessons from their successes and mistakes. Every interaction is an opportunity to learn, and when you actively approach each day with curiosity, you create a life in which knowledge is constantly expanding. Consistency is essential to growing knowledge. Learning in irregular bursts creates temporary awareness, but it does not create a strong foundation. A small, deliberate effort every day builds mental endurance and memory. For example, reading 10 pages every morning may seem minimal, but over a year it results in thousands of pages of absorbed ideas and perspectives. Each page contributes incrementally to your understanding of the world, and over time, this accumulation transforms how you think, make decisions, and approach challenges. Reflection is a critical part of daily learning. Simply absorbing information is not enough. You must also consider how it fits into your existing knowledge and how you can use it in practice. Reflect on what you have learned each day, write down key takeaways, and plan ways to apply them. Reflection strengthens retention and ensures that knowledge becomes part of your thinking patterns. This practice allows you to convert theoretical understanding into practical wisdom, that can guide your actions and decisions. Expanding knowledge is not limited to books or formal education. Life itself is a classroom. Every challenge, conversation, and experience offers lessons. By approaching life with intentional awareness, you can learn from successes, failures, and mistakes. When you analyze your experiences, you identify patterns, discover cause and effect, and recognize strategies that work. This self-directed learning complements formal reading and creates a deep, practical understanding that cannot be found in textbooks alone. Curiosity is a driving force behind daily knowledge growth. A curious mindset encourages you to question assumptions, explore unfamiliar topics, and remain open to new ideas. Curiosity pushes you to dig deeper, to search for explanations, and to challenge your own understanding. When you cultivate curiosity, learning becomes enjoyable and natural rather than a forced task. It is the engine that keeps your mind moving forward, seeking improvement and growth every single day. Application of knowledge is what transforms learning into power. Knowledge without action is incomplete. Each insight you gain should lead to practical steps that improve your skills, decision-making, or approach to life. For example, learning a new strategy for productivity is valuable, but implementing it consistently strengthens your competence and confidence. When knowledge is applied, it becomes a tool that allows you to navigate life more effectively, handle challenges with skill, and make informed choices that lead to success. Reading and learning daily also improve your ability to think critically. Exposure to diverse perspectives, facts, and experiences trains your mind to evaluate information, identify biases, and make reasoned judgments. This critical thinking strengthens problem-solving skills and helps you approach life with clarity and logic. By exercising your mind in this way, you reduce the likelihood of being misled by misinformation or making decisions based on emotion rather than reason. A mind trained through daily learning becomes sharp, adaptable, and capable of navigating complex situations. Setting goals for learning enhances effectiveness. Decide on specific topics, skills, or areas of knowledge you want to improve. Break these goals into manageable daily actions, such as reading a chapter, practicing a skill, or reviewing notes. Tracking your progress keeps you accountable and allows you to see the cumulative effect of your effort over time. By structuring your learning, you ensure that each day contributes meaningfully to your growth, rather than being a collection of random, unfocused activities. Teaching others what you learn reinforces knowledge. Explaining concepts to someone else, discussing ideas, or sharing insights forces you to organize your thoughts clearly and identify gaps in understanding. This process strengthens retention and comprehension. When you combine learning with teaching, your knowledge becomes more robust, practical, and durable. You also contribute to the growth of others, creating a cycle of learning and improvement that benefits both yourself and those around you. Challenges and setbacks are opportunities to deepen knowledge. When something goes wrong, analyze the cause and explore alternative approaches. Understanding why a failure occurred provides more insight than a simple success ever could. Each time you face difficulty and study it thoroughly, you expand your understanding and improve your ability to handle similar situations in the future. This practical learning strengthens resilience and ensures that knowledge is connected to real-life outcomes rather than remaining abstract. Diversifying your sources of learning broadens your perspective. Reading different genres, studying multiple disciplines, and seeking ideas from diverse cultures prevents narrow thinking and stimulates creativity. Exposure to varied viewpoints encourages innovation and adaptability. A person who learns widely is able to connect ideas across contexts, generating insights that others might miss. This approach not only increases knowledge, but also develops wisdom, the ability to apply understanding effectively in complex situations. Finally, growth in knowledge requires persistence and commitment. Daily learning is not always exciting, and there will be moments when motivation is low or distractions are strong. The key is to continue consistently, even when progress feels slow. Each day adds to the cumulative effect, creating a powerful transformation over time. Persistence ensures that learning becomes a lifestyle, not a temporary effort. By committing to reading and learning something each day, you develop a mind capable of handling challenges, making informed decisions, and approaching life with confidence. Knowledge grows incrementally, but its impact compounds exponentially. Over time, the person who consistently learns becomes not only informed, but also wise, resilient, and capable of navigating life with clarity and strength. Daily learning is the foundation of independence, self-reliance, and personal growth, and it ensures that you are always prepared to meet opportunities and challenges with skill and insight. Chapter 12. Improve health by exercising and eating with intention daily. Health is the foundation of every accomplishment, yet it is often overlooked until a problem arises. To truly improve your life, it is essential to treat your body as a priority, giving it the care, nourishment, and movement it needs each day. This begins with intention. Eating and exercising without thought produces minimal benefit, but approaching both with conscious choice transforms your health into a source of energy, resilience, and clarity. Every action you take toward your physical well-being compounds over time, and daily commitment to your health establishes the strength to pursue goals, face challenges, and live fully. Exercise is not just about appearance. It is about function, energy, and longevity. Moving your body regularly improves circulation, strengthens muscles, supports joint health, and boosts mental clarity. Daily physical activity should be purposeful and consistent, whether it is walking, stretching, strength training, or cardiovascular exercise. The key is not intensity alone, but regularity and engagement. Each movement you make contributes to your endurance and vitality. When you exercise with intention, you pay attention to form, breath, and effort, making your body stronger with every session. Equally important is nutrition. Eating with intention requires awareness of what you consume, how it fuels your body, and how it affects your energy and health. Processed foods, excessive sugar, and irregular meals can leave you feeling fatigued, moody, or unfocused. Choosing whole, nutrient-rich foods gives your body the materials it needs to function optimally. Proteins, healthy fats, complex carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals all work together to maintain energy, immunity, and cognitive function. When you plan meals thoughtfully and eat mindfully, you take control of your physical state and prevent problems before they appear. Consistency is critical for health improvement. Occasional exercise or intermittent healthy eating produces only temporary effects. True transformation comes from a daily commitment to both movement and nutrition. Even small actions repeated consistently have significant results. A 10-minute morning walk, a balanced breakfast, and an intentional choice at lunch each day may seem minor, but over months, these consistent efforts shape your energy, metabolism, and endurance. This consistency teaches discipline, making healthy choices a natural part of your routine rather than a struggle. Listening to your body is another essential aspect of improving health. Many people push themselves too hard or ignore signs of fatigue, hunger, or discomfort. Exercising and eating with intention involves recognizing these signals and responding appropriately. Rest when necessary, hydrate regularly, and adjust your exercise to match your body's current capacity. Understanding your physical limits and capabilities allows you to train more effectively and prevents injury. This mindful approach strengthens your connection to your own body, fostering independence in maintaining health. Planning is a practical tool for sustaining healthy habits. Preparing meals in advance, scheduling workouts, and creating a routine reduces the chances of skipping essential practices. By organizing your day around intentional health choices, you eliminate excuses and ensure that your body receives consistent support. Planning also allows you to make deliberate, informed decisions rather than reacting impulsively to hunger, fatigue, or convenience. With preparation, maintaining health becomes a predictable and manageable part of daily life. Variety in exercise and nutrition enhances results. Incorporating different types of movement challenges your body, strengthens multiple muscle groups, and improves overall function. Similarly, consuming a diverse range of foods ensures you receive a full spectrum of nutrients and prevents monotony. Exploring new recipes, exercises, or physical activities keeps the process engaging and sustainable. Enjoyment of the practices you adopt is essential because habits that feel burdensome are unlikely to persist long-term. Accountability strengthens your health habits. Tracking your workouts, recording meals, or noting energy levels helps measure progress and identify areas needing adjustment. When you see the effects of consistent effort, motivation naturally increases. Accountability does not require external validation. It begins with self-monitoring and honest reflection. Knowing where you started, where you are, and where you want to go provides clarity and reinforces commitment to daily action. Mental health and emotional well-being are intertwined with physical health. Regular exercise releases endorphins, reduces stress, and improves mood. Eating nutrient-rich foods supports brain function and emotional stability. By approaching health with intention, you cultivate both physical and mental resilience. This dual benefit enhances focus, productivity, and confidence. Taking care of your body is not only about living longer, but also about living better, with energy, clarity, and the capacity to handle challenges effectively. Incremental improvement is more sustainable than drastic changes. Starting with small, manageable steps ensures you can maintain progress over time. Adding a 10-minute walk, swapping one sugary snack for fruit, or incorporating a short strength routine are examples of actions that, while minor individually, accumulate into significant change. Small steps practiced daily create habits that eventually become automatic, reducing reliance on motivation and increasing long-term success. Intentional health practices also teach self-discipline. When you commit to daily exercise and mindful eating, you reinforce your ability to make choices that benefit you over convenience or immediate gratification. This self-discipline extends into other areas of life, improving your capacity to focus, manage time, and persist in goals. Strengthening your body and mind through daily action is a form of personal empowerment that enhances every aspect of living. Observation and reflection support continual improvement. Regularly assess how your body responds to different foods, workouts, and routines. Notice energy levels, mood shifts, and performance changes. Use this information to adjust practices, refine your approach, and optimize results. Learning from feedback ensures that your health strategy evolves with your needs and circumstances rather than remaining static. Adaptation is essential for maintaining vitality as your body changes over time. Support systems can assist but should not replace your personal commitment. Seeking guidance from professionals, joining exercise groups, or sharing meals with like-minded individuals can reinforce habits, but ultimate responsibility rests with you. Dependence on others for consistency undermines independence. By making your health a personal responsibility, you strengthen both your body and your ability to rely on yourself for essential well-being. Health is a lifelong pursuit, not a temporary project. Daily intentional action compounds into long-term resilience, energy and vitality. By exercising with purpose, eating with awareness, and reflecting on progress, you create a body and mind capable of supporting every ambition. This commitment enhances independence, confidence and clarity, allowing you to face challenges without hesitation. Over time, these habits become a natural part of your life, providing stability, strength, and the freedom to pursue goals with full capacity. Chapter 13. Strengthen willpower by saying no to distractions often. Willpower is the engine that drives personal achievement, yet it is often weakened by constant distractions that pull attention and energy in multiple directions. Strengthening willpower requires deliberate choices to prioritize what matters and consistently say no to what does not. Distractions are not merely interruptions, they are tests of your focus, patience and self-control. The more often you learn to resist them, the more your ability to act intentionally strengthens. Developing this skill is less about avoiding temptation entirely and more about building the habit of choosing what aligns with your goals over what offers immediate comfort or novelty. Identifying distractions is the first step in strengthening willpower. Distractions take many forms: social media notifications, excessive entertainment, unproductive conversations, or tasks that feel urgent but are not important. Recognizing these triggers allows you to create boundaries and control your attention. Awareness alone is powerful because it gives you the opportunity to pause before reacting. Each time you notice a distraction and choose to ignore it, you reinforce your self-discipline and increase your capacity for focus. Saying no often requires courage because distractions are designed to appeal to your desires and comfort. It is easier to scroll, check messages, or postpone work than it is to resist. Strengthening willpower involves practicing refusal consistently, even when it feels uncomfortable. The discomfort is temporary, but the strength gained is permanent. Every time you choose focus over convenience, your ability to make deliberate decisions increases, making future resistance easier and more natural. Structure supports willpower. Establishing routines, designated work periods, and intentional breaks reduces opportunities for distraction. When your day is organized with clear priorities, you spend less energy deciding what to do and more energy executing important tasks. Planning your environment also matters. Remove or limit access to distractions when possible. A workspace free of unnecessary clutter, a phone set on Do Not Disturb, and clear goals for each session create conditions that favor focus and strengthen your self-control. Self-awareness amplifies the impact of saying no to distractions. Understanding your habits, triggers, and vulnerabilities allows you to anticipate challenges before they arise. If you notice that certain times of day or specific situations lead to decreased focus, you can take proactive measures. Adjust schedules, create accountability, and develop strategies that reinforce your intention to stay on task. Self-awareness transforms willpower from a reactive struggle into a proactive practice. Consistency is critical in building this skill. Occasional resistance to distractions produces only temporary effects. True willpower grows through repeated practice. Each time you consciously avoid an unnecessary interruption, you reinforce the neural pathways associated with self-control. Over time, these actions become automatic, and maintaining focus requires less effort. Persistence ensures that saying no becomes habitual, creating a solid foundation for long-term achievement. Mindset plays a crucial role in strengthening willpower. Viewing distractions as tests rather than punishments changes your approach. Each choice to resist becomes an opportunity to strengthen your mental resilience. Instead of seeing resistance as deprivation, Understand it as an investment in your ability to act intentionally and achieve meaningful outcomes. This shift in perspective transforms the challenge of focus into a motivating and empowering practice. Physical and mental energy influence your ability to resist distractions. Fatigue, hunger, or stress reduces self-control and increases susceptibility to temptation. Maintaining energy through proper rest, nutrition, and physical activity enhances willpower. A well-cared-for body supports a focused mind, making it easier to say no consistently. Recognizing the connection between physical health and mental discipline allows you to approach focus as a holistic practice rather than a purely intellectual exercise. Immediate rewards often compete with long-term goals, testing your willpower repeatedly. Social media likes, binge watching, or impulsive purchases may offer quick satisfaction, but they distract from meaningful progress. Strengthening willpower requires valuing long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure. This perspective shift motivates you to resist distractions, as each act of focus contributes to larger achievements and a sense of personal mastery that temporary indulgences cannot provide. Reflection enhances the development of willpower. At the end of each day, reviewing moments when focus was maintained or lost provides insight into patterns, strengths, and areas for improvement. Reflection allows you to refine strategies, recognize progress, and reinforce commitment. Celebrating small victories, such as completing a task without interruption, reinforces the habit of saying no and builds confidence in your ability to maintain discipline consistently. Accountability further strengthens self-control. Sharing goals with a trusted person, tracking progress, or using structured systems creates external reinforcement that supports internal commitment. While true willpower comes from within, external accountability helps maintain consistency during challenging periods. Combined with personal discipline, accountability accelerates the development of focus and reduces the likelihood of slipping into habitual distraction. Flexibility is also essential. Life is unpredictable, and strict rigidity can lead to frustration or burnout. Strengthening willpower does not mean refusing every indulgence or pleasure. It means choosing intentionally when to say yes and when to say no. By making conscious decisions rather than reacting impulsively, you exercise control over your time and energy. Flexibility ensures sustainability, making the practice of focus and self-discipline a lasting aspect of your life. Gradual improvement produces lasting results. Start with manageable periods of focused work and slowly increase duration as your capacity grows. Each session of attention builds endurance, reinforcing the neural pathways that govern self-control. Over time, your mind becomes stronger, more capable of resisting interruptions, and more efficient at completing meaningful tasks. Small, consistent practice produces cumulative growth that becomes evident in every area of your life. Saying no to distractions strengthens independence. When you control your attention, you reduce reliance on external motivation or guidance. You develop the ability to prioritize, manage energy, and follow through on commitments without needing constant oversight. This autonomy enhances confidence and creates a sense of self-reliance that extends beyond focus into other areas of personal and professional life. Each choice to resist distraction reinforces identity. You are what you repeatedly do. By consistently choosing focus over diversion, you define yourself as a disciplined, intentional, and capable person. Over time, these repeated choices shape habits, influence decisions, and guide actions, creating a life where attention and energy are aligned with your deepest goals. Strengthening willpower by saying no to distractions often is a lifelong practice. There will always be new temptations and challenges that test focus. The key is to respond consistently, refine strategies, and maintain commitment to intentional living. Over time, each moment of resistance compounds, creating mental strength, personal autonomy, and the ability to achieve goals with clarity and purpose. Daily practice transforms focus into a natural skill and self-control into a defining feature of your character. Chapter 14. Build consistency by repeating small positive actions daily. Consistency is the engine of transformation, and it is built not through occasional effort, but through daily deliberate action. Small positive behaviors, repeated over time, accumulate into results that far exceed the initial effort. Each day presents an opportunity to take a small step that aligns with your values, goals, and aspirations. When these actions become habitual, they create a foundation of stability and momentum that propels personal growth. The challenge for most people is not in knowing what to do, but in doing it regularly. Building consistency requires discipline, awareness, and a clear understanding of why these small actions matter in the larger picture of your life. Repetition is essential to making progress sustainable. A single act of improvement produces temporary benefit, but repeating it daily ingrains it into your behavior. For example, reading 10 pages of a book each morning, or writing a brief reflection on your goals each evening, may seem minor, yet these actions, when performed consistently, lead to measurable growth in knowledge, self-awareness, and focus. The power of small steps lies in their cumulative effect, gradually reshaping habits, thoughts, and capabilities. To build consistency, it is important to identify simple actions that can be repeated without overwhelming effort. Simplicity ensures that the habit is sustainable, reducing resistance and making it easier to maintain over the long term. Complicated routines are more likely to be abandoned, whereas simple, purposeful behaviors create a rhythm that naturally integrates into your daily life. Choosing small actions that produce meaningful impact allows you to experience results quickly, reinforcing the habit and motivating continued effort. Creating a routine strengthens consistency. When positive actions are tied to a specific time, location, or trigger, they become automatic. For instance, exercising after waking, journaling before breakfast, or reviewing goals before sleeping establishes cues that support the behavior. These consistent patterns reduce the need for constant decision-making, conserving willpower and making it easier to maintain daily action. Over time, these routines form the backbone of a disciplined life, providing structure and reliability even when motivation fluctuates. Focus on progress, not perfection. Consistency does not require flawless execution. It demands persistence. Some days you may fall short or face obstacles, yet the commitment to continue each day strengthens your ability to stay on track. Imperfections are part of the process, and resilience in the face of setbacks is what ultimately solidifies habits. By emphasizing persistence over perfection, you create a mindset that values steady improvement and long-term results over short-term outcomes. Accountability supports the development of consistency. Tracking your actions, setting measurable goals, or sharing commitments with a trusted individual reinforces responsibility. Monitoring progress provides clarity on successes and areas for improvement. Recognition of daily effort, even in small amounts, motivates continued practice and reinforces the habit loop. Accountability does not replace self-discipline but enhances it, creating a framework that sustains momentum and encourages long-term dedication. Consistency is reinforced by purpose. Each daily action should align with a larger objective, creating meaning in the repetition. Understanding why a behavior matters strengthens commitment and transforms mundane tasks into purposeful steps toward improvement. Actions that lack meaning are harder to sustain, while purposeful behaviors create intrinsic motivation that encourages ongoing practice. When every small action contributes to a meaningful goal, consistency becomes a natural extension of intent rather than a forced obligation. Variety can coexist with consistency. While routines provide stability, introducing small variations prevents boredom and maintains engagement. Adjusting intensity, exploring new methods, or diversifying approaches keeps habits fresh while ensuring that daily practice continues. This balance between repetition and variation strengthens commitment, ensuring that consistency is maintained without stagnation or loss of interest. Reflection is key to understanding the impact of consistent action. Taking time to review your daily behaviors, assess results, and adjust strategies reinforces the connection between effort and outcome. Reflection allows you to identify what works, what requires modification, and where additional focus is needed. This conscious evaluation strengthens decision-making, improves efficiency, and enhances the value of each repeated action. By reflecting regularly, you ensure that consistency produces meaningful growth rather than mechanical repetition. Consistency fosters self-trust. Each time you follow through on a small positive action, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of discipline and commitment. This self-trust translates into confidence in other areas of life, empowering you to take on larger challenges and pursue long-term goals with assurance. Over time, your reliability in your own eyes becomes a foundation for independence, personal strength, and achievement. Persistence in small actions builds momentum. Momentum is a critical component of growth because it makes each subsequent effort easier. When a habit is established, continuation requires less conscious effort and progress accelerates. Each day adds to the trajectory of improvement, and what initially required discipline gradually becomes second nature. Momentum also strengthens motivation, as visible progress reinforces the value of continued effort and highlights the tangible results of consistent action. Consistency strengthens resilience. Life inevitably presents interruptions, obstacles, and unexpected demands. Individuals who have cultivated consistent daily habits are better equipped to navigate these challenges because their discipline is ingrained. Daily practice builds mental toughness, enabling you to maintain focus and effort even when circumstances are difficult. The act of repeating small positive actions under varying conditions teaches adaptability and perseverance, qualities that enhance long-term success. Integration of habits into your environment enhances consistency. Designing surroundings that support your desired behaviors reduces friction and increases the likelihood of daily execution. For example, keeping exercise equipment accessible, placing healthy foods within reach, or creating a dedicated workspace promotes repeated action. Environmental cues serve as reminders and reduce the reliance on willpower alone, making consistent behavior easier to maintain over time. Long-term impact of consistency is significant. Small actions repeated daily create changes that compound in surprising ways. Knowledge, skills, health, and personal growth accumulate quietly until the results become undeniable. The individual who commits to consistent improvement develops an edge over those who rely on sporadic effort or motivation. What appears minor on a single day compounds into extraordinary capability over months and years. Consistency also nurtures self-discipline. Daily repetition requires resisting impulses that interfere with established habits. This continuous exercise of self-control strengthens the mind and reinforces the ability to prioritize long-term benefit over immediate gratification. The practice of maintaining small positive actions becomes a form of mental training, enhancing focus, patience, and determination in all areas of life. The combination of consistency and reflection creates mastery. Each repeated action is an opportunity to refine technique, improve understanding and enhance effectiveness. By maintaining focus on quality alongside quantity, you maximize the benefits of daily practice. Consistency ensures presence in the process, while reflection ensures learning from each action, creating a cycle of improvement that compounds over time. Saying yes to small daily actions consistently builds habits that ultimately define character. Habits shape identity, and repeated choices determine the trajectory of personal and professional growth. By committing to incremental improvement each day, you reinforce a version of yourself that is disciplined, capable, and proactive. Identity and behavior align, creating internal coherence that supports long-term success. The practice of daily small actions also reduces procrastination. When effort is divided into manageable, repeated steps, the task no longer feels overwhelming. Beginning becomes easier, and continued progress is natural. Momentum develops, resistance diminishes, and tasks that once seemed daunting become routine. This approach strengthens productivity, enhances confidence, and reinforces the habit of taking action regularly. Daily consistency cultivates patience and perspective. Progress may be gradual, yet over time, the accumulation of small actions produces results that surpass expectations. Understanding the value of persistence develops a mindset focused on long-term achievement rather than short-term reward. Patience paired with consistent effort ensures that actions maintain purpose and direction. Building consistency through repeated small positive actions daily is the cornerstone of self-reliance, discipline, and personal growth. Each action contributes to long-term transformation, creating momentum, resilience, and competence. By practicing intentional, repeated behavior, you establish a foundation of trust in yourself, capability in all areas of life, and the confidence to pursue ambitious goals. Consistency is the bridge between intention and achievement, and it is through daily practice that extraordinary change is created, one small step at a time. Chapter 15. Take initiative by acting without waiting for permission. Taking initiative is one of the most powerful ways to shape your life and assert control over your circumstances. Waiting for approval or guidance often results in missed opportunities and delayed progress. Real growth comes to those who act decisively, anticipate needs, and take steps forward without hesitation. Initiative requires courage, awareness, and a clear sense of purpose, but the rewards are profound, providing independence, confidence, and momentum that cannot be gained passively. Every decision to act on your own authority strengthens your ability to influence outcomes and demonstrates commitment to your personal and professional growth. Acting without waiting for permission begins with recognizing areas where action is possible. Look around and identify opportunities, problems, or gaps that could benefit from your effort. This may involve improving processes at work, assisting others proactively, or pursuing personal projects that align with your goals. By noticing what needs attention and stepping forward, you take control instead of leaving results to chance or the decisions of others. Awareness of these opportunities is the first step toward consistent initiative. Confidence is essential when taking initiative. Doubt often prevents people from acting because they fear mistakes or judgment. Building confidence involves trusting your judgment, understanding your abilities, and acknowledging that mistakes are part of growth. Acting decisively, even imperfectly, is preferable to inaction. Each successful step reinforces your self-belief, while each challenge encountered provides valuable experience that sharpens future decisions. The habit of acting strengthens confidence in both small and large situations. Preparation amplifies the effectiveness of initiative. While spontaneous action can be valuable, being informed and deliberate ensures that your efforts produce meaningful outcomes. Gather knowledge, understand the context, and anticipate potential consequences before acting. Preparation does not mean waiting for perfect conditions. It means equipping yourself with enough insight to act wisely. When initiative is grounded in understanding, it becomes a powerful tool for progress rather than a risky guess. Small actions often create the foundation for bigger achievements. Taking initiative does not always require grand gestures. Simple, consistent steps, such as addressing minor issues promptly, offering solutions without being asked, or completing tasks ahead of schedule, demonstrate proactive behavior. These actions establish a reputation for reliability and responsibility, leading to larger opportunities and increased trust from others. Initiative begins with modest efforts that compound over time into significant influence and results. Initiative strengthens independence. When you rely on yourself to act rather than waiting for instruction, you reduce dependence on others. This builds personal autonomy, allowing you to pursue goals and navigate challenges with greater freedom. Independence created through initiative empowers decision-making, reduces hesitation, and fosters a mindset that views problems as opportunities for action rather than obstacles. Each choice to step forward reinforces self-reliance and capacity. Persistence is critical in exercising initiative. Acting once may produce a result, but ongoing initiative solidifies momentum and influence. Continuing to seek opportunities, propose solutions, and take responsibility even in the face of obstacles demonstrates resilience and commitment. Initiative combined with persistence creates a pattern of effectiveness, showing that you are someone who does not wait for circumstances to dictate outcomes, but shapes them actively through consistent effort. Listening and observation enhance initiative. Acting without permission does not mean acting blindly. Understanding the context, the needs of others, and potential consequences allows your actions to be constructive and impactful. Careful observation ensures that your efforts align with the bigger picture and provide meaningful results. By combining awareness with action, initiative becomes a strategic and effective force rather than random or impulsive activity. Taking initiative requires decisiveness. Indecision or overanalyzing often leads to missed opportunities. Learning to evaluate information quickly, make informed choices, and act promptly strengthens your ability to respond to emerging situations. Decisive action, even in uncertainty, builds momentum and teaches valuable lessons. Each choice to move forward rather than hesitate increases competence, resilience, and self-assurance. Initiative fosters creativity. When you step forward without waiting for permission, you often encounter situations that require problem-solving and innovation. Acting independently encourages original thinking and the development of unique solutions. This creative aspect of initiative allows you to contribute meaningfully, address challenges in new ways, and discover approaches that would not emerge in a purely reactive mindset. Initiative and creativity together expand your capabilities and influence. Responsibility is intertwined with initiative. Choosing to act without waiting means accepting the outcomes of your decisions. This sense of responsibility strengthens character and accountability. When you take ownership of actions and results, you cultivate trust in yourself and from others. Responsibility encourages careful thought, ethical decision-making, and long-term consideration, enhancing the quality and impact of your initiative. Momentum builds from repeated initiative. The more consistently you take action proactively, the easier it becomes to identify opportunities and execute decisions. Momentum reduces hesitation and increases efficiency, allowing you to tackle challenges quickly and effectively. Each successful act reinforces the habit of initiative, creating a cycle of productivity, self-reliance, and influence. Over time, momentum transforms individual actions into a lifestyle of proactive achievement. Overcoming fear is a fundamental aspect of taking initiative. Fear of failure, criticism, or uncertainty often paralyzes action. Confronting these fears directly, acknowledging them, and moving forward despite discomfort strengthens mental resilience. The act of choosing action over fear trains the mind to prioritize growth, problem-solving, and opportunity over anxiety or self-doubt. Courage and initiative are closely linked, each reinforcing the other through repeated practice. Initiative enhances learning and skill development. Acting independently exposes you to challenges, feedback, and experiences that accelerate growth. Each decision to step forward, solve a problem, or take responsibility provides practical knowledge that cannot be obtained passively. Learning through action creates competence, adaptability, and insight, equipping you to handle future opportunities and obstacles with greater skill and confidence. Building a proactive mindset begins with small decisions taken consistently. Regularly asking yourself what can be done now, what improvements can be made, or what responsibilities can be assumed, develops the habit of initiative. This mindset shifts your perspective from passive to active, from reactive to deliberate, by training your mind to see opportunities rather than waiting for instruction. You strengthen your ability to act decisively in any situation. Initiative nurtures leadership qualities. When you consistently act without waiting for permission, others recognize your reliability, vision, and effectiveness. Leadership is less about titles and more about influence, and proactive behavior demonstrates the capacity to guide, support, and inspire others. Taking initiative positions you as someone capable of driving progress, solving problems, and setting standards through personal example. Reflection on the results of your initiative improves future actions. Assessing what worked, what didn't, and how circumstances could have been managed differently allows you to refine your approach. Reflection enhances judgment, planning, and decision-making, making subsequent initiatives more effective. Combining action with thoughtful evaluation ensures that your efforts produce continuous improvement rather than repetitive trial and error. Initiative strengthens confidence in decision-making. As you act independently, experience outcomes, and learn from results, trust in your own judgment grows. Confidence fuels further action, creating a positive cycle of empowerment and effectiveness. Each choice made and action taken reinforces your ability to navigate uncertainty, tackle challenges, and pursue meaningful goals without hesitation. Initiative is a habit that compounds over time. Small, consistent actions lead to greater responsibility, influence, and accomplishment. Each decision to act without waiting accumulates into a lifestyle of autonomy, self-reliance, and progress. Developing this habit requires courage, awareness, and discipline, but the long-term rewards include freedom, opportunity, and the satisfaction of actively shaping your own life. Taking initiative by acting without waiting for permission transforms your life by fostering independence, confidence, creativity, and resilience. It teaches accountability, strengthens leadership, and builds momentum for sustained achievement. Each act, no matter how small, contributes to the habit of proactive living, creating the ability to respond to challenges, seize opportunities, and pursue goals with purpose and effectiveness. The practice of initiative empowers you to lead your life rather than wait for direction, establishing a foundation for continuous growth and success.